Hey guys, how are you all? Oh fuck man, my back is killing me. I slept weird. Sup, dude? Virtual interview in 30 minutes. I got a pin in my stomach. Loving it. And good luck, man. Hope it goes well. All right. What music should we play today? I think it'll just be another like chatting stream, probably. I'm not gonna play the game, but that's where the background music's coming from. I just had this open. Let's see what we can find. Let's try this. Let me know if the volume level on it's good. Hello boys, it is Reynad once again. Had some free time today. I figured I'd stream again, talk to you guys. Remember when you did the Pajama Sam streams a long time ago? Yeah, those are sweet. Oh, am I playing any games today? Probably not, yeah. Probably not. You remember me messing around in the culling? Those are exciting streams because the genre is new. Yeah, I forgot I streamed that. That was a cool game when it first came out. No, Bazaar servers aren't down anymore. I've been playing a lot for the past few days. Played all weekend. Fucking unplug it so people shut up about my trash can. Okay. Much better. I guess I might be a little irritable today. Sounded out of tune? Yeah, now it is. It's a shit guitar anyway. I got it at this Filipino guitar shop. We were doing Game Changers out there a few years ago. And there's this one like semi-electric that I wanted to buy. But Simon had dibs, he found it first. But yeah, this one just has really like high action and something about the neck feels warped now. And I just, yeah, I don't know. Not a great guitar, so. Those tea lights, mostly just heating tea is what I use them for. I also have a hot plate here though, I'm gonna use that. There we go. What do I even want to talk to you guys about? Right before I went live, I made this promise to myself. I'm like, don't complain about stuff. I'm trying to put a bit more of a positive spin in my content, you know? Did you see the thread on LSF? Yeah, Sparky. That's kind of why I'm irritable, I think. It's like, somebody linked it to me. It's funny, like in last stream, I literally talked about that type of commentary, and my thoughts on it, you know? And I would... I mean, complaining about, like, people on LSF saying mean things is like... complaining about people in China speaking Mandarin, you know? It's like, I don't know. It's the only way they know how to communicate. So, I think I'd rather have the project talked about than not. But it still doesn't feel good to, like, put so much time, effort, energy, passion, dedication into something for 5 years and then have a bunch of armchair experts just, like, shit talk you. None of it makes sense if you have, but yeah, whatever. It's not worth arguing it, It is what it is. It doesn't, like, feel good to read, like, hundreds of comments of shit talking, but at the same time, it's, like, good that it's happening, if that makes sense. LSF is a subreddit. It's a combination of, angry teenagers with no life experience and grown men who are failures in every quantifiable way. But whatever the result, the people with time in their day to, send hundreds of comments about their parasocial understanding of streamers, they're not in a great spot in life. And the commentary they tend to bring out is, all negative. I get it from the young kids, you know, like negativity is a lot more comfortable because, like, I remember being a teenager, I remember being a kid. You're riddled with insecurity, you're not sure about how you fit in the world. So it's much easier to say that you don't like things than that you do like things, because liking something is taking a risk that you're too insecure to take. Like, oh, I like something, it's putting yourself out there, you know, whereas just like talking about everything you can point at and all of its flaws, and it's this is dumb and that's dumb, and you know, that's why kids do that. It's just less emotionally risky. So I get that, but yeah, there's also like the grown men that are like, Reynad knows nothing about running a business or game development. The arrogance. Let me explain exactly why his game company fails, because I know how game companies should be run. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's very hypocritical, a lot of it. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel good to read, but at the same time, I don't take it to heart as much as I did, like, you know, 5 or 6 years ago. Because I realized that, like, you know, I mean, I could create Microsoft at $1 trillion market cap, and they would still be calling me an idiot in how I run a business. You know what I mean? This is like, I've been through it enough times at this point that it's just like, yeah. I realize that, like, that feedback is divorced from what it is you're doing. That tone is what you're going to get 100% of the time from those people, and it doesn't matter what you do. So, yeah, at the same time, it's like cool that they care enough to bitch about it. So it's like, you know, I'm excited. Comparing the game from 6 years to now, how much of the game design has changed? I mean, this is kind of the thing, Patrick. This is kind of the thing that upsets me. Like, people just lie about the project all the time, like you just did. It's not been in development for 6 years. You know, dipshit. Like, don't use numbers if they're, like, lies, you know? Like, if you have to mischaracterize something, then your argument doesn't have much ground to begin with, you know what I mean? It's been 4 years. Totally reasonable. It's like, every time people comment on it, they add 6 months. You know, 1 week passes, and it's 6 more months have been added to development. This is what the community talks like. It's so fucking stupid. It's especially stupid because they have no frame of reference of how long it should take. So, like, how can you use, like, yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna let myself go down this rabbit hole of complaining about forums. Doesn't get us anywhere. What should we talk about, though? I need, like, a different subject. Project's going good, yeah. Staffing up a lot. Yeah, it's going great. Got about 70 people on the project now. In total, all, you know, veteran talent, doing really great work. Getting a lot of really important hires that we needed. Still some senior ones missing, but we'll get there soon. But yeah, the game's running now. The servers are back up as of like a week ago or so. Well, since like last time I streamed, they went up. So I've been playing all weekend. That's been fun. Yeah, I'm just excited to. We're gonna get some user research in the near future, so I'm excited about that too. There's like a bunch of UX stuff that's just like so obvious it needs to get sorted, but it'll still be good to like run people through it and confirm all that confusing stuff we gotta fix. But yeah, I'm stoked. I think the game will get much better over the next few months. I think it's already the best drafting game. I'm pretty excited about how far we can take it now. Excited about the polish and stuff coming in too. So it really does come in together at the end, you know, once all the assets get in there, all the sound design's finished, all the visuals are in there, all the missing art is done, the modifier art's going to go in, the VFX need a whole overhaul, so like most of those are missing. A lot of the 3D modeling stuff's going to get better. We have like this whole day-night cycle, so like the lighting conditions are going to change. I'm really excited for where it's going to end up. I think it'll be like a really immersive like storybook, like I don't know, like it'll be cool. I like our aesthetic. Yeah. Do you guys still have the vampire girl character? No, we don't. That's back when I tried doing all the class design myself. brought in like somebody with more experience, like world building and creating, and then together with him, he and I worked on like building the universe of the Bazaar a lot more. This was like back in 2019, and after we did that, a lot of the characters ended up changing. So like originally it was like wizard, vampire, werewolf, whatever else. I think we're still gonna do an engineer. It's like the engineer became Dooley, and the merchant became Pig, and the vampire kind of became Vanessa, more or less. But, you know, thematically really different. She's more like a Han Solo type of character, you know. Can I ask what playlist this is? Sure, yeah, it's just some YouTube game music, I don't know. Here we go. You can literally search like video game music and find a million playlists that look the same, you know. Yo, Grant, thanks for the $10, man. I appreciate it. I guess I have alerts working. That's cool. I haven't had those set up in a while, so I'm glad they still run. No, I don't want to play the game on stream anymore. There's just no reason to like show it to people. The feedback's useless at this point, and rude more often than not. So I'd rather just like ship the product, have it be great, and then people can make content and see it and stuff. I thought that the benefits would outweigh the costs of showing the project in development, but it didn't. You know, other people like store the most important features, front ran a shittier, smaller product before we could finish ours. That really was the thing that set me off. But yeah, the feedback was like, it was like productive early on. It was helpful for like the first 5 or 6 videos we did. We were doing like core design stuff and talking through like decision thing. I don't know. It was, some of the ideas were like helpful, you know, like 1 out of 100 or something were like interesting. And then, yeah, not so much for the last couple of years, I would say. But I mean, it's cool. I mean, I'm still grateful that like the community like follows it. I'm glad there is a community following it. I love that they make content about the game. Like I watch all the videos and stuff. We already have like YouTubers and guys like Greg making stuff, and that's cool to see. But yeah, like you know, for every Greg, there's like 10,000 angry dudes that have never and will never accomplish anything in life. They're just gonna try to like tear down the project, and I don't know. I'm like pretty emotionally invested in this. It's like it's not like constructive feedback. It's just hate is what a lot of it is, and at least from Reddit in general, it's hate. Yeah. And, well, I shouldn't say most of it's hate. It's not most of it. Most of it's pretty positive feedback. Most of it's been pretty supportive, but it's also like not the most useful thing either, right? It's like, okay, it feels better to read that stuff, but it like also doesn't make the game better. So it's, yeah, I don't know. I'm tired of people like saying misinformation about the game, and like, I don't know. I don't think any of the meta commentary has served the product. So I see why people do closed development, and you know, I don't think it is good for a developer to show games in progress ever. Yeah, I don't know. I think Valve has it right. I'm not complaining. I'm answering a question. What was the hardest part of the design? Well, I mean, I wouldn't say many design decisions were harder than others. I mean, I think the hardest part, it's harder like the more stuff that you're changing all at once, you know? I mean, we've had to like scrap a lot of what we had a few times over. So I think some of the biggest changes were, I mean, they were kind of the hardest in terms of like the most design work that needed to be done, but they were also like the most fun and the most like encouraging. Like it was a very exciting time to rework the core of the game that way, and It always felt like we were making a ton of progress when we were changing a bunch of stuff, even though it was hard. So it was like pretty rewarding to make big changes. So. Why is there a heavenly light coming from the door? I mean, look, I know it's going to be hard to believe, but there is a glowing fiery ball in the mystical realm known as outdoors that illuminates the outside world. Most of you guys wouldn't know, but trust me, it's there. Do you have a degree? No, I don't. I dropped out of high school. Can we all agree that the Bazaar soundtrack's kind of nice? It is kind of nice. This is not the Bazaar soundtrack, though. This is other video game music. I'm not sure what it's from, to be honest. Have you tossed anything out of the game that you initially loved? Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff. I mean, like, I made the game that I made a paper prototype out of in a digital version. Like we made the game 1-to-1 and played the shit out of it. And the only reason we kept changing the game after that is because it had core flaws that were just like easily improvable. So, yeah. Like, for example, like using a deck to simulate randomness is just like really, really bad. And there's no, like, it makes sense in a physical game because you need to like create RNG somehow, but as soon as you go digital, having a deck be like what your draft options go into just created a bunch of unnecessary problems. It was just like, it created all this like shuffle RNG that was just like bad gameplay. So just like having all your cards up in front of you all the time was like a pretty elegant solution. Solved a lot of the hidden information problem. Like, no, whatever. We made videos about all this stuff, so yeah, I forgot why I was talking about that. Yeah. We have not explained any crypto part of the game, no. And frankly, I shouldn't have said that there was going to be any, because now there's like 500 dipshit. Like, the whole SF, they're just people lying. They all just lie, you know? They all say we're selling NFTs. Like, we're not selling NFTs. I never said we're selling NFTs. It's not even... They don't even understand what Web3 integration is, but, you know, they'll still use it to shit talk. It's fine. But whatever. Again, like, it's me talking about the what they're saying, and, like, it doesn't matter. They would have that tone of feedback regardless of what we did with the project. Company could have a $10 trillion market cap, be the most valuable entity in the world, and they would still have that same shit feedback from the same shit people with just as little life experience. Whatever, it's fine. I'll live my life. They'll live their life. Small minority of idiots. That's I think that's mischaracterizing idiocy. Like the problem, yeah. The problem with stupid people is that it's the majority, not the minority. It's people think of it like they're smart and dumb, and then you're somewhere like in that spectrum, right? But it's not really like that. It's like everyone's. a genius in the context of like vegetables, and like an idiot in the context of the universe. And it's not really I don't know if this makes sense, but it's like I think the problem is not so much that people are dumb or smart. It's that most people choose not to think, and it's not irrational, you know. It's kind of like because I mean, think about how we evolved, you know. Like, you have your like 20-person tribe, and it's like the most likely way you die is if you get kicked out of the tribe. You know, you got to fit in with the other gorillas. It's just like imperative for survival. Or at least your odds of surviving are like astronomically more likely if you fit into the tribe. So what most people do is they, instead of thinking for themselves, they parrot the thoughts of the gorilla before them, who parroted the thoughts of the gorilla before them, and you end up with like, it's almost like a standard distribution of ideas, you know, or like the bell curve, where like most people are in that meaty middle chunk, but they're not actually doing any thinking. They're just repeating things they've heard. They're not thinking about, like, and the things they say aren't even their thoughts, because if you pay attention to what they do, it's very different from what they say. So it's like their words are very divorced from not only their own belief system, but like any thinking to begin with. And then like there's the small contingent of people, these outliers that do think for themselves, and oftentimes they're wrong about stuff too, you know. It's not about being wrong or right, but like they at least have the capacity to like think independently, you know, instead of like parroting the previous idea. And this is like kind of the trap that I think a lot of like forums and like a lot of the shit you read online, Twitter, you know, the YouTube comments, LSF, all the same bullshit falls into this pattern, you know. It's like, okay, well, the 200 angry 12-year-olds before me clearly think this is lame, so now I need to say it's lame or else I don't fit in. And that's, you know. And there's ways to take advantage of that, you know. You can lean into it and pander to them. It's what a lot of streamers do, but it's like, you know, I don't want to be Lord of the Flies. It's not like a outcome. I've been there. It's not worth it. It's not that enjoyable. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do my thing, make my thing. A lot of people will shit talk it along the way. A lot of people will praise it. You know. Where do you place yourself on the bell curve? Well, you just like completely missed my point. My point is that you don't place yourself on a fucking... Yeah. I'm always in the outliers, you know? No, not always. Sometimes the middle of the herd is right. Like they are right sometimes. Rarely, but like sometimes. It's like case by case, you know? It's not so much of like, where in the bell curve are you? It's more like, do you think for yourself, or do you let other people do your thinking for you? And most people in most things let other people do their thinking for them. So. Do you miss Tides? Yeah, Andrew's a cool guy. I hope he's doing well. I sent him a build of the Bazaar like a year ago or something to get some early feedback. Is Mac good versus Jules? It depends on the run. I think every class is kind of good against every class if you draft well, you know. Fuck, man, my back is killing me. How did I sleep in such an off position? It's just like one spot, you know? How the fuck do I fix this? Muscle relaxer? What am I supposed to do? What games have you been playing besides the Bazaar? Pretty much only the Bazaar. I mean, the time I played other games was when, actually, like over the last like week when the servers were down. Oh, this last weekend I played the Bazaar all weekend because the servers are back up now. But it was down for like a week. I was playing some games. What did I play? I played this indie game called Iron Lung. It's like 1 hour long. It's pretty quick. You're in a submarine. That was okay. I played some Magic, some Modern. I tried Elden Ring for like a couple hours, but I gotta be honest, guys. This is nobody's gonna agree with me on this because again, this is like the parroting thing. But well, I don't know. I think a lot of people do legitimately like Elden Ring. There's a lot to like about it. It's not the game for me, and I don't like it for the same reason I didn't like any of the Dark Souls games, which is like I play it for a few hours and I love the core gameplay, but then like at some point I'm forced to interact with my inventory or my menus, and it is just such atrocious UX, like such and like I don't know how you make a game of that budget, of that scale. You're on only 2 fucking platforms, and I have no idea how to play the game because every pop-up shows me Xbox buttons. I'm playing on a computer. What is X? What is 3 horizontal lines? What is and it's like, okay, yeah, the first 5 times, 10 times, okay, it's kind of annoying, but then it's like, you know why I closed Elden Ring and why I'm gonna uninstall it? Because after like 2 hours, I needed to open my map for the first time, and the sociopaths, guess what button they mapped it to? G. Not M, not tab, like civilized humanity might put their map button on. No. It's on G, and you can't, it's not in the fucking controls menu. You can't just like hit escape, look at your fucking key maps or whatever. It doesn't show up. You have to like Google this external information. The most trash UX I've ever seen. And it's just like, and how hard is it to put one intern to just make me not look at Xbox buttons on my PC version, you know? Like, how hard is it to just like tell me what key to push to do the input you're asking me to, It's like the game's given me 200 pop-ups and not one of them has helped because it's just showing me Xbox buttons, but I'm playing on a computer. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how you cannot be embarrassed about that. It's like, it felt to me like they went out of their way to stop me from playing the game in so many, and dude, I would just like slog through it when I was a kid through like willpower, and now it's like, fuck man, I'm a grown-ass man. I have so many options on what to do with my time. I am not gonna sit here and try to figure out what fucking 3 horizontal lines means on my keyboard. Like, it's no. Just get a console, Lamau. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't get one of the 10 PlayStation 5s gifted to the race of man, It's like, how can I buy a console if I wanted to? There is a very obvious setting that allows you to switch from Xbox to PC keys. No, there isn't. If it was very obvious, I might have found it after digging around in the menu for an hour, but I did not. So it is either not very obvious or non-existent. And since you, random in Twitch chat, says it exists, I would put my money on it not even being there, because 9 out of 10 times, whatever the opposite of what you guys say is the reality. It exists, it's just hard to find. I mean, here's like a fucking thought, it's software. Could it maybe tell that it's the PC build and just like start on the right version? The most trash UX ever. And the thing is, they double down on the trash UX every version, And it's like, fuck, man, they put all this work into the world building and the gameplay, and there's so much to like about it. And I really want to play, but I don't know how, and I never will. And I'm not willing to go through the fucking 200-hour tutorial of their shitty key scheme. They put map on G! You can't rate a game 10 stars when they map on... Sociopaths. Elden Ring. Yeah. Apparently it's in sound settings. I have to go to sound settings to switch my Xbox game to PC game. Okay. I uninstalled when I got called maidenless. Yeah, that hurt too. Can we get info about Mac's unique stuff? Nah, I'm done talking about features in the game. Like, people just steal them, and then, dude, yeah, whatever. People just steal the design ideas. Like, we announce them, and then I get a bunch of shit for them because it's different from stuff people have seen, and they're like, oh, this will never work. And then some shit indie studio steals it, and then it succeeds, and I'm never vindicated. You know, it just get front ran. I'm just like, I'm done, dude. The product will come out when it's fucking ready. You guys will see it in a beautiful state with everything in there. It'll be a great game. You'll be able to play later this year. And I don't particularly give a shit about scratching your impatience itch in the meantime. It just doesn't serve us, you know. It actively hurts the company and the product, has been my experience, which is fine. It's like it's a valuable, you know, like, I'm annoyed by it. It sucks that it happened, but it's also like, at the start of this, I thought it was the other way. I thought open development was the way to go. I thought it was like ridiculous that studios weren't leaning into that more, and now I get it, and that's like a lesson I had to learn in practice, you know. People just steal. It's, yeah. What's an example of something that got stolen? Our matchmaking system. Or the first asynchronous auto battler. The decision I got a lot of flack for. A lot of flack. Then it gets stolen, has a bunch of success, and now everyone acts like it wasn't even our idea to begin with. It's fucking... Now they say we're a clone of that game. It's fucking... You know, whatever. Whatever. I know they stole it, and they know they stole it. And that's good enough for me. But it's the wrong way to think about it, you know? It's like, I don't know that ideas can be stolen. I've been thinking about this a lot, you know? It's like a thing I've been sensitive about for a long time. I think I might be in the wrong in general. It's like I used to, for a long time, I've really been married to this idea of ownership of ideas. You know what I mean? And, because I'm proud of my ideas, and it takes work to like refine them and develop them and see like how they, you know, they don't come from nothing. They come from effort. Like, you build them. So yeah, if you go through trouble of making something, you do feel like it's yours. But a lot of times it's just like a conclusion that other people come to independently, or inevitably almost any idea is. And I don't know that just because I'm the first one to have it for some stuff like decks or whatever in Hearthstone, I don't, even from the first one to apply it, use it in a tournament or whatever, it's never, like, I never get credited with it after the fact, almost ever, unless I fucking go out of my way to parrot it, like the zoo thing. which is just like petty. And like B, other people seem to be really sensitive about every time I talk about ownership of ideas. Like other people lose their shit about this. So it's interesting to me. It's like maybe the nature of ideas is that they're meant to be shared, and the idea of owning them is, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. But then, you know, on the flip side of that, you know, as a business, it's like, I mean, fuck, man. I shared my idea, and another business stole my idea and made lots of money off of it, and now they're first to market with my idea. And if I didn't share that, it never would have happened, and we would have been first to market. It's like, objectively, it shot me in the foot, right, to do it there. So it's like, I think where I've settled on it is like, when it comes to ideas that I'll apply in business, I'm gonna stop sharing them until I've had a chance to capitalize on them first, you know, like so like my version of sharing that idea will be releasing the fucking product, not talking about the cool idea before we release the product, so people can make 1/10 the product faster than us and run it out. It's unless you do the idea better, that's a disingenuous, that's a bad faith argument. Like it implies that like being first to market's irrelevant, which it's not irrelevant. It very much matters in business. Don't get me wrong, it's way better to be last than it is to be first, you know. You'd rather be Facebook than MySpace. You want to be like the last one to have the monopoly. But you definitely get an advantage from being first to market, for sure. How do you know they stole it and they didn't find it themselves? They were commenting in our YouTube comments section, and then their fucking staff tried promoting their game on our subreddit, and it's like a very specific feature in a very niche genre. I mean, the odds that indie studio didn't see, I mean, we're the most watched, like, whatever, development videos for that genre. Like, I don't know, it's mostly a probabilistic argument, I guess, that I'm making. I can't know with certainty, you know? But here's the thing, right? Like the last time I talked about this on stream, I got a hate thread on LSF about why I'm a piece of shit and my game's gonna fail and I'm an idiot and why didn't I just keep being a cam girl and blah 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 blah. You know, like that. And it's like I don't want to read through that shit either. So it's like maybe complaining about it in the first place doesn't really like serve me. You know, it's very interesting. I've been thinking about this a lot, like ownership of ideas. Yeah. No, thanks guys for the reassuring. No, I know we're on the right path, and I know I'm right. And it's not the last, like, that's the thing, like, I'm an ideas guy. Always have been since I was a kid. It's like that's like my fucking secret power is like the creativity shit. Like I really like that. And there will be other ideas. And I guess my question is like, how do I treat them moving forward? And I think I've just always been like very open about just like stream of consciousness, whatever I'm thinking, I just fucking say it with no filter, you know? And it helps for like long form live content like this, right? When you're trying to do improv for 6 hours or whatever to some dipshits on Twitch chat, no offense guys. But it's not, it doesn't always serve me with business, you know? It's like fuck, if I'm doing open development and then like I shared our secret sauce before the game launched and then it got copied before we could launch, that's just, I think that's crossing the line into irresponsibility. I really didn't think it would happen, you know? There's so many people who, the amount of people who give startup advice that have never fucking done anything with a company is crazy. But one of the most common pieces of startup advice that you'll get is like, to not value ideas. It's like, it's all about execution, you know, and it's like, no, that's, yeah. I tried living by that philosophy and it fucked me. And it's like, not to say that that's not right on average or whatever, but I don't know. Let's try a revolutionary argument. It's both. Exactly. I think it's like a threefold. It's more like a triangle. Like 3 equally important things. You need like vision, which is like the ideas. It's like, right, vision, capital, execution. I do think vision, execution equally important. Capital equally important. Like you need. If you're missing any of the 3, you're fucked. Yeah. Isn't it nice to see that the idea works before you release your game? I already knew the idea would work. The idea would work independently of whether they tested it for me or not. I would rather they didn't steal it. But, because you know what's going to happen is the game's going to release, and even though there's video record of us showing this feature aeons before this other game came out, people are going to say we're the ones that copied them. You know what I mean? This is like, this happened to me with so many fucking Hearthstone decks, you have no idea. Like, this is just how it goes down. Every time, without fail. And then you get into this whole, like, argument back and forth on who did it first and blah, blah. And, like, being right doesn't matter. Nobody gives a shit about the truth. People have their fucking emotions that run them. They don't run their emotions. And they're just gonna say whatever serves the thing they're feeling in the moment, you know? If that emotion is fuck Reynad, then, you know, they'll find a way there, regardless of inconvenient truths in the way. So, it's... I'm mostly just venting, man. It's unhealthy. I gotta stop reading through. It's like the whole reason I wanted to stop streaming too, kind of, is because, you know, I noticed I was falling into these cycles of a bunch of bad things, like, you know, being addicted to attention and stuff. But it's just like, yeah, reading about yourself from just like the cesspool of the internet is just not good for your mental health. And it's like, man, when you wake up in the morning and you read like a hate thread of several hundred comments, and it's like, you know, yeah, it's easy to say, like, yeah, those people are dipshits because they are, and they're wrong because they are, but, like, it doesn't make it not feel bad, you know? It still feels bad. So, I think part of it is... But, yeah, I also think it's irresponsible to, like, ignore feedback, too, even if it's shit feedback. Like, I do read every comment of feedback about the game. I read every thread, no matter how much a lot of it pisses me off. Because, like... one time in 1,000 there will be something helpful of substance, you know, and that'll make the product better. And like, I don't know, is the emotional toll along the way worth it? I think it is, because I'm kind of like a quality product absolutist or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. It's important to, like, check yourself, too, just, like, ego-wise and stuff, you know? It's, like, it's kind of important to be talked down to once in a while, you know? Then, you know, then I run it through, like, the independent thinking filter, and I'm like, okay, do their arguments hold weight? Are they right? Am I right? Dude, with the matchmaking system, dude, I was going through such a dilemma. We announced our matchmaking system for the game and how it was asynchronous for an auto battler, and I was like, man, this has so many benefits. You're not locked in for half an hour anymore. You could walk away anytime. We can matchmake in all sorts of creative ways. You can use other player builds for PvE content. It's like, there's a bunch of like benefits you get from it. And we announced it, and the feedback was terrible. People said, you ruined the game, this is terrible, this isn't what you started with, and the game changed, and therefore it's bad. and this asynchronous thing is stupid because it's not competitive anymore. And there were hate threads and hate threads and hate threads over and over and over again about this feature. And I was really conflicted because this was my favorite feature, and it was my idea, so I was very invested in it. And I was like, fuck, am I just married to this bad idea? Everyone's telling me it's dumb. And so, I don't know, I basically just like laid out their arguments. And I tried reading all of them, and I tried really seeing their side of it. And I weighed that against my arguments for doing it. And it wasn't even comparable. Like, it wasn't even, the trade-offs were not even remotely close. It was so much better to go asynchronous. So despite all the negative feedback, we kind of stayed the course, you know? And when another game like stole that concept, and they had a ton of success with literally that feature and like nothing else in the game, you know, I don't know. Did people go back and say like, oh, the Bazaar was right? No. No, now we're copying them apparently. I don't know. Isn't this feature used in like Facebook chess games and what? Dude, this is like, you're so like missing the fucking point, and this is why I don't like talking about this stuff, because it's like, I use the word asynchronous, and now people are talking about like, well, isn't Clash of Clans asynchronous? You didn't invent asynchronous. You didn't invent electricity. Doesn't your game run on electricity? I'm saying this specific type of matchmaking, for this specific genre of game, auto battlers, there's never been one, and we were going to be the first, and everyone thought it was a bad idea when I announced it. And it turned out to be a very successful idea. And, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm annoyed that someone else did it instead of us, because we talked about it instead of just launching the product. So this is why I don't want to talk about features with you guys anymore, you know? That's why I get, like, really nervous when people are asking, like, there's a question in Discord randomly, the Bazaar Discord a couple days ago. People asked me, like, what's the difference between burning and poison in your game, right? Because they both kind of do damage over time. And I was like, oh, well, you know, poison ticks once a second, and burn ticks twice per second, and decreases itself, and poison lasts all five. Whatever, like, I like, answered it. And then I thought, I'm like, fuck. Like, every time I answer a question like that, I'm like, I hesitate now. I'm like, what fucking indie developer is carbon copying my game and slap some shit graphics on it and claim that they invented it, and then like I'm gonna complain about them, and then I'm gonna get hate threads because I complained about them. I don't know, it's just, it doesn't get anywhere, you know what I mean? So ultimately I'm just left with like a bunch of frustration. I'm wondering, like, fuck, man, what are the benefits of open development? Community. I could argue the community gets built like with a finished product, you know? It gets built whether you do it early or not, right? There's games that don't do open development, which is like, well, all of them. And almost all of them. And they have communities. So I don't think that open development, you know, you can make the argument that it gets your community earlier or it helps build one, but like you could also just backload the content like near launch where there's actually a call to action and people can go download the game, and you know, it's like I don't know. Open development might work best once there's actual builds that can be played for feedback, like how Supergiant did for Hades. Yeah, exactly. Like once people can like play the game, I very much want community feedback, and I'm gonna read through fucking all of it every day, every comment. You know, yeah, it's mostly like this early, like before the game's launched phase that I'm like worried about. So. No, you can't sue people for gameplay stealing. And it's kind of the other thing about idea ownership. This is why I think, you know, my instincts when I was younger about idea ownership might have been wrong. Is like, you know, even when you look at our game, it's like we're also standing on the shoulders of giants, more or less, you know? Like, we're also, like, taking lessons from Hearthstone in terms of, like, UI and aesthetic, and we're taking lessons from Slay the Spire and from auto battlers and from RPGs, and there's, like, a lot of lessons being applied from other games, right? So it's like, are we stealing core RPG mechanics from Ultima or whatever the fuck the first, you know, like, yeah, but yeah, like, practically speaking, no, you can't you have legally no rights over gameplay mechanics, which is very interesting, right? Like, what you control is the intellectual property, like the characters themselves. That's what you own, that's what you can, like, litigate against, but the gameplay itself, you can just steal. That's what most studios do, which is really interesting, because, like, the gameplay is actually kind of the core value proposition, in my opinion. Like, the gameplay is, like, the most important part, at least to players like me, which I think is a lot of players. But it's the one part you can't protect as a company. So, I don't know. Maybe it's for the best. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. I think ownership of ideas might be a flawed concept, and I keep thinking about ownership in general. Like, I get why it's better than what we had before, like a property-based legal system, and the idea of ownership organizing everything in society. I get why that's better than anarchy. I wonder if it's flawed, like, overall, just the idea of owning stuff. Because I look at patterns of owning, you know, the things that we've owned have changed over time, you know? It used to be pretty commonplace. For most of human history, people owned people. And women were property, and property was property, and it's like everything was property. And I think, like, over time, we've stripped away ownership from a lot of those things, right? Now, it's not legal to own people. And this is, like, I think that made the world better. And basically, I think about, like, things like water or electricity or whatever that, like, used to be privatized, but now they're utilities. They're in a way, like, they're not owned, I guess, when you turn something into a utility. Generally, it seems like the world gets better when you take ownership out of things, I guess, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But this is, like, a really abstract, you know, I don't know that applies to everything in life, and maybe it's inevitable that, yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Yeah. No, I'm definitely not communist. Now, communism's idiotic. It's, yeah, definitely not communist, but I don't know what the alternative is. To be honest, it's probably something that's going to happen many, many generations from now, but it's interesting to think about. It's like, why are we so stuff-focused? Why is arbitrary ownership over things so important to us? You know, it's like, I don't know that it serves us in the long run. Do you have any family in Ukraine? I do, yeah, a lot. It doesn't work for us humans, but the idea was pretty nice. I mean, if a political theory doesn't apply to humans, what good is it? By my definition, it's dumb, but I don't know. It's like saying, yeah, this car won't start, but isn't it shiny? It's a pretty nice car. It's like, well, no, it's kind of a shit car if it won't start. I don't know. I don't know. Game's been going well, man. It's going good. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. The dominance of capitalism is irreversible. Communist was too... No. Communism is entirely misaligned with human biological motivators. It cannot work for people, ever. It's... No. It inevitably eats itself. By design. Could communism work if people would have no greed? I mean, yeah, if people weren't people, then yeah, shit would be different, maybe. But, like, I don't think that's a fruitful, like, path of discussion, you know? If people just weren't mean to each other, wouldn't the world be better? It's like, well, yeah, but, you know, people are what they are. So I think we have to think of systems with that in mind, you know? What's the best system in reality, given that people are the way they are? I'm sure there isn't a specific answer. Do you have a rough estimate, like 1 year until the Bazaar release? Well, we said it's launching this year. That's what we're aiming for, so. That is still the plan. Need to start using a hair mask? What's a hair mask? I don't know. Oh, my bad. I'm talking about political shit all over again. I'm a little bit jaded, though, about the whole communist thing, you know? My family used to, like, several generations ago, nobody even remembers, but we used to be wealthy. We were on, like, the Polish-Ukrainian border. We're called Kupchik. It was the last name, which means, like, merchant. And there were, like, farms and rivers and mountains and a shitload of land, all called Kupchik. And then the communists came in and took all of our shit, because we had shit. They took my great-grandma's farm, all of her horses, everything, like... and then we were poor, we had nothing, right? And they shipped them off to, like, Kazakhstan or something, some fucking... They had to, you know, some dirt hill that they had to, like, build a home out of with nothing. And so communists did take all of our shit, I guess. I kind of have a bone to pick, but I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not that emotionally invested in it. I think it's just an objectively stupid system of governance. Anybody with any amount of life experience or understanding of humans, or like if you're like an armchair politician, like with a perspective of the world entirely based on Twitter and wishful thinking, then like, okay, I get it. But yeah, I don't know. In reality, it's like, yeah, I don't know. that's not to say like capitalism's perfect. First of all, I'm not even sure what capitalism means, but I am in favor of free markets. I think that free markets are a net benefit to all participants. Now, I don't know that we've ever had one. Nothing in America is a free market. Certainly not the stock market. Certainly not the business landscape. It is a freer market than the totalitarian, dystopian ones everywhere else in the world, sure. And I think it will make the lives of people better the freer that it gets. But it has its own issues, You can't just say like, oh, ruthless capitalism for everyone, right? Because then like 10% of people, by definition, cannot compete. And this has like been proven over time. It's like 10% of people, and this is not even their fault. Like nobody chooses like what they're born into, or like how like you don't get to pick like the vessel. You know what I mean? 10% of people just can't compete, like empirically. And then what do you do with them? It's not. So I don't know. Maybe it's like ruthless capitalism plus safety nets. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the problem stems from the nature of people. It's like even if there was a perfect system and you suddenly applied it, how can you make a system that's not reliant on good actors while at the same time being impervious to bad actors? It's a very hard thing to do. Yeah, I think AI is like the most likely solution. How good, but then God, I've seen so much sci-fi. I don't want a dystopian fucking Skynet future. But who knows? It's hard not to trust the robot more than people. You know what I mean? It's pretty irrational to trust people that much. Trust them with governance of other people. I don't know. I trust the robot more. We're worried about Skynet going on a killing spree, but whereas the human is guaranteed to every time. So it's very interesting. I don't know. Maybe I do trust the robot more. People are driven by envy, not greed, living standards. I do agree with that, yeah. Yeah, I remember there's this YouTube video I watched with these monkeys, and like they both get like lettuce or something, and they both like the lettuce and they're happy. Like some vegetable. And then like one of them gets a grape and the other one gets lettuce. And the one with lettuce loses his shit. Like loses his shit. And it's like, that psychology combined with the fact that any resource-based system is going to end up with the 1% having everything over time. It's just math. It's how it evolves. It's Pareto effect, right? So it's like, I don't think you can ever do away with like inequality, unhappiness, I guess, if that makes sense. Yeah. Do you think the world will end soon? I don't know. I hope not, If it does, it's our own damn fault. I don't know. Wait, my bad. I always like... I find the stuff I talk about on stream always gravitates to like... whatever's in my mind at any given time, and it's a hard thing to balance because like a lot of times the stuff I'm thinking about, it's in the process of being thought about. So I have a lot of ideas that are like stupid, you know, and it's like I want to like think them through or vet them, or maybe part of the reason I share them is to test them, right? I want them to be shot down by somebody so I learn something. But I don't know, this stuff is like so open-ended and abstract, and it's the type of problem people have been trying to solve for thousands of fucking years, and it's just like, I think there's a solution. Yeah, I'd like to see it in our lifetime, but yeah, whatever. I don't know enough about it to talk about it like an expert or whatever, right? These are just like questions I have. It's interesting stuff though, who knows? Yeah. You still live in Burbank? No, I'm down in Long Beach. Does having long hair make your neck feel hot? Not really. I don't think so. How many days do you go surfing? Almost fucking never. I go paddleboarding sometimes. I like that. I want to do it daily, but I'm just so lazy. I gotta build a habit. Yeah. What is your main job now? Same thing it's been for 7 years, dude. CEO Tempo. Are you coming to TwitchCon? I think I am actually, yeah. My friend told me about it a couple weeks ago, and I think I ended up booking some stuff, so yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. When is that? It's soon, right? It's like June or something, maybe. The game is called the Bazaar. Bazaar demo at TwitchCon? Nah, I think it'll just be more of a solo trip. Will the Bazaar have specific servers for each region, or will it be global? It's intended to be a fully global game, so yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the server breakdown is going to be like, or what the localization priority list is going to be, but yeah, we'll definitely start with the most the countries that have the most players, basically. That's what we'll localize for and translate, you know. But yeah, I don't know, I gotta figure out what to do with Russia. If Putin doesn't build the firewall, maybe we should, you know. Have you tried the current Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG? Nah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was actually my first card game I went to a tournament for. I was 10 years old, and I was so fucking into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because the show just came out, and every kid was so into it. I told that story on stream a few times, but yeah, I got all my cards stolen, and then like a few weeks later, the game was dead, the cards were worthless, the hype was gone. Yeah. Collecting it was cool. I like the show. It was like genius what they did at the show. Fucking genius. You know what was cool about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like if we watch something like Pokemon you know, like, I know that there's no Pokemon in the real world. I can pretend to be a Pokemon trainer in a Game Boy or whatever, but I can't hold a Pokemon. But with Yu-Gi-Oh, it was just kids playing cards and trading cards. And then you have the same cards, so it's like, shit, you can... You know, like, they romanticized the thing that you could literally do as a kid, which is very different. It made it feel closer, like more achievable, or more like real, more immersive. I don't know what the word is, but it was like one level of engagement higher than the Pokemon media is what it felt like. But yeah, the game sucks ass, you know, like, once you play like Magic or like other card games, it's like, oh man, you can't. Yu-Gi-Oh is maybe the worst gameplay of any card game that I know of. I can't think of a worse one. If I'm just like judging the gameplay, right? Like, but I do think they had like the best transmedia strategy, which is pretty cool. Like, so that's what I mean. Like, different games do different stuff well, and you want to like take the best parts of, you know, what worked, what didn't. What's the best card game in terms of gameplay? Paper Magic, I would say. But Paper is very different from digital Magic. They're different games. Magic's a game like Dungeons and Dragons, where it's meant to be played like verbally, and it has a shitload of design space, because pretty much anything you say or do in the middle of this conversation can happen. As soon as you take that digital and you need to make it a fair deterministic system that everyone plays on, and suddenly you have a fucking rule book this big with a fucking priority system where you have to click OK every 2 seconds, and the whole gameplay experience becomes ass online, because Magic's not meant to be played digitally. It's meant to be played verbally. So Magic as a digital game is a way worse game than Hearthstone. Way worse. Always will be. It's just not designed for the medium. You know, they've done as good of a job as they can, like abstracting that shit away with UI and stuff, but it's, you know. Why did Hearthstone fall off? Their monetization system churned their whole player base, inevitably. Like, the issue with games like Hearthstone is the way that you progress your account is your collection of cards. Like, they took the monetization system that Magic had in paper in the fucking 90s and put it on a computer. So it's like loot boxes, and you have to open packs. And here's the problem, is like, okay, I have 30 cards, I have a deck, but you as the company, you need to sell more shit. So you need to release new cards. So if I already have 30 cards from my deck, why would I need new cards? Well, you as the company need to create a reason. So there's two solutions companies picked, right? You go the Yu-Gi-Oh route and just power creep everything. So every new expansion is just stronger than the old stuff. So the players either buy the new cards, or they just have a deck that can't compete anymore. And then the Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone solution is set rotation. So basically, you can only play standard, like the newest format with only the newest sets, and it always rotates, and which also creates the issue of like, hey, you have to buy the new cards in order to be able to participate in this format. And basically, no matter which solution you pick, you put your players in this position every time you release content, which is like, hey, you want to spend a couple $100, or you just want to not play? Like, you're literally paywalling the content out. So you just churn your players, you know what I mean? So Hearthstone's player base was like, you know, fucking exponentially climbing, and then they did set rotation or whatever, you know, and it peaked around like Knights of the Frozen Throne or whatever the fuck. And then yeah, the set rotation actually starts hitting, and people realize, oh, I have to buy the next expansion, and people just churn out. They just churn out over time indefinitely, you know. And part of it is also just like people get bored with experiences over time, you know, kind of lost the novelty and that kind of shit. It's just, the game doesn't have the staying power of something like Magic, because Hearthstone is inherently non-social. to its detriment. It had a lot of issues. There's a lot of reasons Hearthstone died. But the other reason is the gameplay is just worse than drafting games, and the reason is it all just ties to the progression system of collection of cards. If you have a strategy game where you have to pick your strategy before you do the playing part, then there's going to be a hierarchy of strategies, right? Like some decks are just better than other decks on any given patch. So what happens is the internet ruins this kind of progression system because you release an expansion and there's that fun period of discovery where people are trying new shit and they're having fun, but then, you know, Reynad makes the best deck in the format and he posts it online, and then everybody copies the deck, and suddenly the entire game is homogenized because people are just playing the same 3 decks over and over because everybody wants to win more than they want to have fun. That's how humans are. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Basically the collection of cards part of the game, it churns your own players because of the way you have to monetize, and it makes the game worse because it homogenizes the strategies that people use. If you compare that to a drafting game where you don't have a collection of cards as the progression system, you don't have any of these issues, and you just have an endlessly replayable game, which still just rewards you for decision making, minimal execution. Yeah, I don't know. That's like my take. Yeah. You're a Johnny. Yeah, me too, you know. It's like, yeah, I don't know. There's obviously different people that play games different ways, but I'm kind of just, I'm generalizing, you know, describing the most of the herd and how they play. And I think that's why that kind of, I think the monetization system basically created these problems that just surface over time. Drafting might have an optimal strategy, but you have no guarantee of like seeing those cards, even if you know what the best ones are. It's way less of a problem in drafting games. But yeah, you're right. A lot of auto battlers fell into the same trap. They just had a really limited unit pool, and then they had the reroll button. So if you knew that like whatever, Warriors was the best thing to do on this patch, you could just force Warriors more or less, and then you end up with kind of what feels like the same build at the end of every game. This is definitely something a lot of auto battlers fall prey to, you know. Yeah. I think as designers, you have to make it kind of hard for people to force stuff. I didn't invent Miracle Rogue, but I was the first player to register it in a tournament. There's a bunch of shit I invented in Magic, or in Hearthstone, nobody ever gives me credit for, man. I invented Double Force, Double Roar. Well, other people were playing Single Force, Single Roar for a long time, but I was the first one to run double in tournaments. I would have played 3 copies of each if I could, and people said this was fucking insane, and it just became standard like a month later, you know. That was a cool one. Handlock was... I didn't invent Handlock. It was like Reels and Wreckful doing it on stream, putting the four drops in. But I changed like 20 cards in it to make it like good. That was not easy. I put in like the Watcher package and Doomsayers and shit. Yeah. Yeah, Zoo. Yeah. Zoo was a hard one. Yeah, Zoo was because I was trying to be the first player to get Legendary on all 3 regions, which I was. I was having trouble with the Asian meta, because the Asian server had completely different decks from North America and Europe, which were just copying Reynad decks. So I was like, fuck, these guys love mid-range Shaman. They're all playing fucking Control Shaman for some reason. I can't beat Lightning Storm with my little low-curve Zoo deck. Or with my, whatever I was playing at the time, it wasn't Zoo. But I wanted to beat this fucking Control Shaman deck. So I made this like... Oh, Handlock is what it was beating up on. So I wanted to make like beefy aggressive Warlock deck that never ran out of gas to just punish control. And I was running like Pit Lord and stuff. Just big, angry men, you know? And I took it to Legend real quick. Like, real fucking quick. And all this was on stream. And then I took the same deck list onto the North American server, and I trimmed down the curve a shitload. Put in Shield Bearer, fixed a bunch of stuff. And then I posted a YouTube video about it, but it still had like Argent Commander and one other card that was not great. But like 1 week after that YouTube video, I posted a video on Tempo Storm where I got rid of Argent Commander. I put in like Dark Iron Dwarf, Abusive. It was like the low to the ground version, and that's pretty much the optimized list. It never got better from that. Yeah, the Mortal Coils turned into Elven Archers. Like, yeah. I'm talking about fucking Hearthstone shit 7 years ago. Why is this? I'm going to the bathroom quick. Be right back, guys. Any chance we could see Tempo Storm return to Pro Siege? Nah, never. Ubisoft fucked me on that league, and I will never work with them again. Might buy that company one day. Fire the whole esports department. We'll see, though. How often do you wash your hair? I'm trying to do it less and less. I mean, now it's like twice a week, maybe. But, you know, I also, like, don't leave the house, and I just, like, leave it tied up, you know. Like, I pretty much only stream on the days that I wash it, if that makes sense, you know. Mm-hmm. When is the next stream building lemonade stand? Yeah, that was awesome. Did you ever try playing Valorant? I did. I remember I played it on like the first day of the beta that they were like letting people in, and I played one game, and I queued into a game, and I was like #1 KDA on the team for like half the game, and then I finished at like #2 or whatever. But starting from round 1, my entire team, I think they were in a Discord call or something, like all 4 of them except me. They were just like, spewed hate. I don't know how to describe it. They just shit talked me the entire time. Not like in a jabby, like polite, like haha, small jokes kind of way, but like, you're a piece of shit. You should go kill yourself. Why the fuck are you still in this game? Just fucking quit. They're saying this over comms. And then they did this thing where all 4 of them every round would stand around me and box me in. And one of the ults like called in some beam of light that would kill all of us. So they started just suiciding the whole team just to kill me. And then I realized how I could heal with the character. I realized how the abilities worked. I started healing. I was just playing it like CSGO before that. But yeah, I realized all these kids are cunts, and I shouldn't play this game. So I stopped playing. Yeah. Like CSGO, I'm not gonna say like randoms in CSGO or any better. It was just as bad, or well, not quite as bad, but yeah, like CSGO, I didn't. It wasn't like that blatant, you know. I just had this one like horrible experience, and I was just like, yeah, okay. I'm just so over like fucking teenage testosterone idiocy, you know? Like, fuck, man. I spent 20 years of my life being that guy, angry as fuck, and it's just, I got better shit to do with my time, you know? Also, I like games that try something different, you know? Like, I liked CSGO, and Valorant's a great game, but it's because it's a clone of a great game, and it's like, I'm just so like disinterested in clones, regardless of how good they are. I want new experiences. I want to try like different stuff, even if I don't like it as much as other stuff. Why has League not died yet? Because they don't post player numbers. Nobody's aware. They've done a lot of good work. I don't know. Riot's a great studio. They do really polished work. It is like, you know, one of the best MOBAs. Great marketing team. Yeah. I don't know if it died so much as it like moved into other IP or other genres. That player base. Oh shit. They killed people in Lviv.
Clinging to all that's precious. A mother who fled fighting in Ukraine's east, only for her son to be wounded by bombs in the west. There was a powerful explosion, she says. Windows broke. He lost half a finger. Artem is 3 years old and the youngest of 11 injured in Lviv. In the early hours today, rockets rained down, 7 died, and the thinly veiled sense of safety in Lviv was ripped from this city in western Ukraine where, until today, the war had claimed no civilian lives.
Looks far from the center.
What we see in Ukraine today is genocide that the aggressor is carrying out on purpose, killing civilians. 7 civilians had plans for life. Today their lives have ended.
Last night was brutal. Russian rockets were fired on more than 300 sites across Ukraine. In Kharkiv in the east, 3 lives were lost, adding to the 15 killed in the 3 days before. President Zelensky today handing over EU candidacy papers called the latest bombings nothing but deliberate terror. More terror is believed.
I just bombed them all. Fucking Christ. This is just... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Lviv, that's the city where most of my people are right now. Most of our staff. And I picked that city in 2018 specifically in case this shit happened. Because my family's in Crimea. I've already, like, you know, everyone knew this was coming. Well, I shouldn't say no. Nobody thought, like, thought there was a chance. Most people, myself included, would have bet against Russia doing this because it's not going to go well for them, and it hasn't gone well for them. But they did it anyway, and now they're fucking bombing the West. It's fucking sad. Yeah. Anyway, I was playing music before, right? Let me find some. Let's see. Let me know if the volume on that's okay. Yeah, there's no fighting in Crimea. A little loud. Alright. I was thinking that, you know what, I'm gonna go to a different video. I don't like the fucking volume balance on that. It like alternates between way too loud and way too quiet. Oh, let's see what this is. Maybe this one's okay. Play Mitch's music. Anyone know how Kalento's doing? I mean, last I heard, I didn't hear it directly from him. I heard it from a mutual friend, but he was I mean, he is from like Donetsk, I think, or the northeast, like the dangerous part. But I think he moved out to Belarus or something a long time ago, a couple of years ago, several years ago. I don't know. When do you expect to break even with your game? I mean, day one, but that's only because of like how we monetize. It's like different from a unit sales model like most game companies have. So, it's like it's like binary. Like it either works or it doesn't. If the system works, well, we more than break even day one. But it doesn't mean we're making that amount of money every day either. It's just like very front loaded how, yeah. What happened to the guy named Gary in the early Hearthstone days that played poker too? He disappeared randomly. You mean Gabe? Gabe Walls? He passed away. Did you finalize the platform? Yeah, we're making our own platform. Do you know what happened to VLPS? He had some drama. I forgot what it was. But I think he made a decent amount of money trading crypto, just with technical analysis and stuff. He was doing it. I think he was in like the 2017 hype wave, like pretty early. It was pretty good for him because, like, right, if he all he had to do was like stay in, and he's probably doesn't need to work anymore. But I don't know if a few guys did that. I think Iskaka might have done that too. It's not like the whole trading world is really no different from card games. It's resource management, risk assessment, a lot of overlap between card game players and traders. It's all the same. Like they chase the same dopamine hits too from gambling. Any good book recommendations? Oh man, I wish I had some. I don't do a ton of reading, to be honest. I probably should. What happened to the Ritzy Who? They disbanded a while ago. Do people get hired for marketing? Yeah, we hired some folks for marketing. We just you haven't seen us actually market yet. There's no reason to blow our load and spend a bunch of marketing dollars when there's no call to action, you know. So most of the marketing you see is going to happen when there's actually a download button that people can click, because that's what we want to drive people towards. It's just better to use dollars at that point in time. But we are already working on making a bunch of content for that marketing plan, and it's scheduled out, and we're filling in the content gaps now, so it'll really spin up later this year. You guys will see a lot. We got a really talented VP of marketing. He was the head of marketing at Bungie, I think, right before Tempo, and then they got bought by Sony for a few billion, but we snatched him right before. Yeah, he's been doing a great job. I haven't played Destiny now. Do you miss Wreckful? Yeah, I miss Wreckful every day. Yeah, it's I never talked about it on stream much. I did talk with Mitch about it. It took me. I was pretty guilty when he passed. Yeah, like, it happened a while ago, so I don't know how many of you guys remember, like, the chronology of the shit, but it was like... Yeah, it was complicated. Basically, Byron and I had a weird relationship. Like, we would almost never talk, and then, like, we'd hang out, like, every, like, year and a half or something, and be, like, best friends for a week. It was like so much about Byron I saw myself in, like the way that he thought about things, and I always had so much respect for somebody that could like grind to the top of streaming and competitive play. It's like very, you could count the number of people that have done that on one fucking hand. It's like back then especially, but yeah, like I hadn't talked to him in like a year and a half, and then one day he randomly called me up and he's like, "Hey Reynad, listen, I just took a shitload of mushrooms and I really want to see you right now." I was like, "Oh shit, all right, Byron, where are you at?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm up in Hermosa Beach," and I was in Huntington at the time. These are two cities in LA that are like less than an hour apart, you know. So I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come up. We'll have some food or whatever, you know. I don't know if I'll take shrooms or whatever, but I'll just, you know, hang out." It was like late at night, so I drove up there and we spent the night hanging out. And he was kind of tripping balls and stuff and talking about how he was like getting over his depression and how he thought this could help. And I was just trying to be supportive, you know. Had a beer, chatted. We sat at some sushi place next to the pier in Hermosa. And then he got some Airbnb nearby because he was staying there to be with his parents. So we went over there after like an hour. And he decided to turn his stream on and go live. Along the way, we met some like... tattoo artist, younger guy who was like friendly. He was closing up, but whatever. At the end of the stream, I end up holding the fucking camera while he's fucking proposing to Becca or something, and I like shut it off like as I didn't realize what was fucking happening, right? So I'm like, "Okay, dude, you're tripping balls. Let's calm down for a second, you know. Let's give away your hand in marriage tomorrow if you still want to, but like." And this was like live, right? So I like shut the stream off as he fucking proposes to her. And I forgot how the night ended, but we started hanging out a lot after that night, like most days for a couple of weeks, and we started talking a lot. And then the next week he came down to Huntington Beach. He stayed with me for like a week and a half or so. And Becca was there and we were hanging out. And this is when we did the lemonade stand stream, if you guys remember. And you know, we were talking about what we were working on in life, and at the time, this was like my first year working on the Bazaar, and I'd already made all this progress. I had a paper prototype. I finally put it on a laptop. I had a digital version. I was really excited, and I was going all in on this. But you know, at the same, yeah. So he wanted to play it. We were playing it, and he played like one game, and I don't know. He like fell in love with it, right? And he was like, oh, why isn't this out yet? It looks playable right now. What do you need to finish it? You know, because all the art and shit was missing. And I told him like, oh, you know, I'm talking to like venture capital investors and whatever. Byron offered, without me asking or implying, to like, he's like, hey, we should go like 50-50 on this. I'm like, I can fund it. I think, you know, because I told him what I thought it would cost to finish at the time, which he thought he could solo do. And I'm like, I don't know, man, that's like a big risk. And whatever. We ended up talking about it for a while more. And he was like, no, I really want to do this. I think it would be a good partnership. And then, like, from my perspective, I'm going to turn this music down. One sec, I'm going to close the... Whatever, Reckful decided to invest in my game, and we signed a contract for it and everything. And we were doing the Lemonade Stand stream, and it was like brotherly bond. And he did this whole tweet. I don't know if you guys remember. It got like fucking 6,000 retweets or something. Like, or fucking, it was like a big tweet. He had his artist guy, his friend, make a little graphic for it. And it was like, yeah, Reynad and Reckful partner on the Bazaar, and we like fucking announced this. And I was like a startup owner at the time, and like I needed the money, and it seemed like such a great value add investor, because not only is it money, it's like, it's fucking Reckful. He can help promote the shit out of this. Because my whole thesis is like, streamers control the distribution. Of course they should own the product. We decide what games get popular. So this was like the whole theory behind why I wanted to make the game since like 2017 or whatever, you know. And I really sold him on this idea of like, yeah, streamers actually have a huge unfair advantage if they ship a game. And we talked about it for fucking hours and hours and hours and days and days and days. And he sat there for like a week and a half and whatever. We signed this contract, and we decided to like partner on this project. So, you know, the next week came, Byron went back up to Hermosa Beach or wherever, and I started getting on calls with investors again, needing to wrap stuff up. And, you know, I had a signed contract. Byron was on board. We already announced it to fucking hundreds of thousands of people on Twitter or whatever, and Byron was part of the team. It's like an important development, right? So I started telling investors, like, yeah, Reckful's on board now. I'm going to get other streamers on board. This is like, you know, first-time streamers are making like a AAA game. We're going to fucking... This is how we outcompete Blizzard or whatever. And he just, yeah, Byron. So I went around to investors telling them this because, you know, wanted to get like more funding for marketing and stuff too. There's no reason to drop those conversations. And yeah, after like a month, Byron had decided to completely welsh on the contract. Like, okay, well, I shouldn't skip ahead that far. Reckful had a bunch of ideas about the game. That's like how it started. This music is trash. I have to fucking switch this playlist. What is this garbage? Can I just get like some fucking Zelda music or some shit? Maybe this. All right. Yeah, Yeah, so right after we made the announcement and we started talking about the project a bunch, Reckful had a bunch of ideas. He was like, okay, first of all, we're going to rename it. It's not called the Bazaar anymore. Second of all, we're changing all this shit about the IP. Then we're like changing genres and the game's going to do all this. And I'm like, dude, I've been thinking about this game for years. He wanted, the big thing where we disagreed is he wanted to make the game using viewers. He wanted to use people in his community and his friends and people that he knew that were like, said they were good at programming, and he wanted them to make the Bazaar. Because he's like, this will be cheaper, and then the community's a part of it. And I'm like, no. These kids are dipshits. They're all going to take advantage of you. You have no idea how unconscionably stupid Twitch chat is. And I don't have the fucking bandwidth to micromanage like 30 individual dipshits on the internet. And how do we even hold them accountable? Who the fuck are they? And it's like, so I was like, this was like a hard line I drew. I'm like, no way in fucking hell is Twitch chat going to make my game. I need it to be good. And it was like a big thing we disagreed on. And in the contract, it wasn't 50-50. It was I had 51% and he had 49%. So Reckful, I basically no-sirred a lot of the big changes he wanted to make. And he was like, oh shit, it's not really a partnership if I have 51 and he has 49. And he's right, it's like, yeah, like I had the veto rights basically on that kind of stuff. And I was exercising them. And like, so yeah, basically after like a month, after letting me go to investors and tell them all, yeah, Reckful's on board, we have this signed contract, look, we've announced, fucking 6,000 people have liked this, it's a big deal. He decided to do a 180. He's just like, yeah, I'm not going to honor the contract, I don't care what we have signed, I'm going to make my own game instead, because I like your idea about streamers making games, but I'm just going to go make my own now. He was like talking about this on like Pokemon's podcast. So he just like welched on a contract, made me lie to investors for like a month, which is like not a small deal, that beyond just like hurting my reputation, that's just like a legal risk. I was pissed basically. I was like, fuck man, I thought you were my partner on this, we announced, we have something signed, and now you're like backing out on your word because I won't capitulate to your dumb ideas. This is how I felt at the time, right? I was really fucking mad at Byron. I was really mad at him. Because it's like, you guys think of me as a streamer because like when you see me, I'm streaming. But what you don't realize is like, well, some of you guys realize it, but like since 2014, like when my stream first blew up, the first fucking thing I did is found tempo. The first thing, because I wanted to build this exit. This was like the most important thing in my life, or at least in my career. It was like I gave everything to the company, and he was jeopardizing that. So I was so mad, and like, yeah. So anyway, we were mad at each other. It was like adversarial for the next like year or whatever, right? He went forward making his game the way he wanted to make it. I kept doing it the way I wanted to make it, right? I kept bringing on more veteran talent, people that have shipped AAA games, like trying to build like a real fucking studio. Byron went all in on the community development thing, burned through all of his money, and then he needed to raise more money. So after like 2 years, I just kept getting, and by the way, like along the way, I never fucking streamed, let alone shit talk Reckful, but he was like on stream all the time saying like, Reynad's fucking, I don't trust him, and he was just like calling me like a fraud, and like, he was like saying shit on his stream to like try to discredit me and my reputation. When really I was just trying to hold him accountable for like what he signed. Whatever. And anyway, I was really mad. So for 2 years, it was like very adversarial, right? And then I get a phone call randomly from our main investors, the main guys who invested in my company, right? Because At this point, we raised our Series A round, which is like the first time I got like a real fundraising round. We brought venture capital in. We raised like a few $1 million back then. That was a lot to us. It was enough to like, finish out the project. I got a call from these guys, these same investors, like, hey, listen, we just talked to Reckful yesterday. What do you think of his game? And it's a lot of the same narrative. He gave them the same pitch I gave them, which is streamers should be making their own games. And I was like, oh yeah, let me tell you everything about fucking Reckful, Here's how it went down. Because they were around for that too, like they saw. I was pitching them around the same time the stuff with Reckful was going down, I think, and whatever. But it sounded like they like wanted to go through with it, and I was like, look, man, I can't be unbiased. I'm pissed at him, but you guys do what you want to do, it's your money. And I honestly, I told them straight up, I'm like, his game might succeed. I think it's a novel idea. At least it's like different, he's not like cloning an existing thing. I like the Everland. I think it's like a cool concept. Anyway, so I get this phone call from our investors being like, oh, we're going to invest in Reckful's game too, basically. It was like what they were thinking about, or they were just like sort of floating the idea. They wanted my feedback, but, and my blood just boiled because I was so fucking mad at him. And once again, it's this ownership of ideas thing. I always get hung up on this, I felt like this was like my fucking idea. It was like, oh shit, streamers should make AAA games. They have distribution, blah, blah. Sounds so obvious now that every fucking streamer is trying to start a studio. But like in 2017, 2018, like nobody's fucking doing this. Nobody, And might have been 2019 by the time. I don't remember what year anymore even. But yeah, I was so mad at him. And I get this phone call from our investors, right? And I told them, like, look, man, I think the game might have potential, but I don't know about the studio. He's trying to make it with Twitch chat, and, like, I like the aesthetic. I think there's potential, but, like, Reckful's really unpredictable and unreliable, and he has shown that he won't honor contracts that he signs. And, like, I told them, like, straight up, like, my experience with him in business, right? And the next morning, I wake up, and he tweets, like, I forgot what he tweeted, something at Becca about, like, marry me or whatever. And I flash back to that first night that Reckful and I started spending all the time together, where he proposed to Becca, when it was just the three of us in a fucking room, and I'm holding the camera, like, cutting his stream off early. And I'm like, shit, he's going through a manic episode or something right now. He's losing his shit. And you know what I felt? Unlike that first night, I didn't, like, step in as a friend to try to help Byron. I was just so mad at him. I felt like happy seeing that in the morning. I'm like, fuck, this validates everything I said to those investors. Look at how unpredictable he is. Look at how fucking whatever. And I know that if I wasn't mad at him, I would have called him. Like the first thing I would have done, and I saw that tweet, first thing. Because I knew he was fucking going through it, like that first night. 100% I would have called him. And instead I was just happy that he was like, screwing himself over in the moment, and then, yeah, he fucking killed himself, like a couple hours later. And I was so, like, I didn't really know how to deal with it. I was so, like, racked with guilt and, like, sad about it. And I felt responsible because I was like, fuck, man. Like, everybody, like, people don't understand about Byron. They always, like, describe him as, like, bipolar, but that is not, like, the number one defining characteristic. Like, Byron is like the oldest streamer. Like, he invented donations. He had been psychologically a streamer for longer than fucking anyone, and his entire like network and friendship circle and all this shit was like people in that world trying to get something out of him, and like nobody was gonna give him like hard truths or whatever. And whatever, I don't. Yeah, I felt like if I didn't call him, nobody, like, who else would, and I don't know. I felt responsible. And after a while, I realized, like, being angry with him didn't make much sense to begin with, and, I should have been there as a friend regardless of that stuff. And I just, like, I don't do business with friends anymore. There's a bunch of shit that came out of that like I think differently. But I was just so racked with guilt and like blaming myself for a long time. And it was just really, really fucking sad. And I thought back to it and I'm like, man, you know, like day one when he chose to like partner on this project, I could have stopped it then and there. I could have just been like, nah, man, I'm gonna do this solo and fucking, I don't know. He was really like pressing it, you know. I wasn't like pitching him or whatever. Like we're taking some shrooms in my condo and he wanted to like play a game for fun while we did it. And then he started asking a bunch of questions and it's like, I don't know. Whatever. And the lemonade stand thing I think was also really like impressionable for him. It was like during that stream he was like talking about it. He was like, fuck, like hard work. I see why people do, like he was getting dopamine hits out of this and he hadn't done much of that stuff like being a streamer before. Like manual labor and things, you know, and I think he just really wanted to like build something, you know. And the game seemed like it could be that thing. I don't know, maybe trying to work through his depression using purpose, which is like a pretty healthy solution, but yeah, I don't know. Fucking tragedy. But yeah, I don't know, man. I called Talbadar like right after he passed, and I was trying to figure out like fuck, like can I finish Everland? Can I like fucking help find investors so his team could do it, so I don't have to, like, I don't know. I was just trying to like retroactively see what could be done to, but yeah, whatever. Like, you know, nothing was gonna undo it, so it was just like, yeah, it was really. It wasn't just the guilt thing though. It was like, I was worried that I was responsible for him like taking on all this responsibility for like other people's careers and like building a team and shit. And it's like, it's not, people don't understand like the responsibility when you're on a company of like other people's livelihood. And like, I felt guilty because I'm like, fuck, man, did he feel like he was in an impossible position and he wasn't sure if the investment would go through and he was out of cash, and this is like, I don't know, was that part of it? And like I was wondering, was it part that like, I don't fucking know. It felt to me like he was on the game development path with a lot of shit on his shoulders. And it wasn't going super well, and like it was looking good towards the end though. It was like they were getting their shit together. I don't know, they had a good team. I don't know. I felt responsible for like putting him on that path or something, or I don't know. But yeah, the part of it that was really sad too is just like there weren't, you know, like I've met a lot of streamers, but I've never like fit in among streamers. I've never felt like I have more in common with streamers than most people, and there's like a lot of shared like suffering that we've gone through, right? So there's some camaraderie there. But Byron really felt different. It was more like a brother. Like we thought the same way about the same things. And he is a very creative person. It's very, very rare. And an independent thinker, even more rare. Yeah. So that's what sucked. It felt like losing one of the few people that I identified as being like me in the world, you know what I mean? And then I was like, yeah. I was going through my own crippling stress and shit, you know. It wasn't like I was doing nothing. Like I was like in my mid-20s trying to run a fucking 30-person studio with like, yeah, I don't know. So I had my own like crippling stress to deal with, and I was thinking like, fuck, man, if this happened to Byron, what's gonna happen to me, kind of thing, you know. And so that's really what sucked about that. I mean, I feel so terrible for his family, and Do you think the shrooms made his depression worse? I think they helped, but I don't think that the depression was... Well, whatever. Like, I'm not him, and I'm not a therapist, right? It's... How accurate is my psychoanalysis going to be, right? My feeling was that the streaming part of Reckful's brain was a lot more dangerous than the bipolar part of Reckful's brain, or whatever. Like, the consequences of the streaming lifestyle were having more of a bad impact than the manic swings, in my if I had to guess, right? But that's just like anecdotally what it seemed like. I don't fucking know. And I wish that he would have tried, like, exercise, surrounding himself with, like, real friends, which he had a couple, like, close people, but, like, he didn't, like, he wasn't stupid, you know? He was so aware of, like, his position and, like, other people wanting stuff from him that he kind of, like, looked at other people through that lens. So I don't know how, like, even if people loved him and would have done anything for him, I don't know that he felt the same way about them all the time. And unless you feel it both ways, is it really, like, a real relationship? Is it I don't know. Like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, I wish that he had more of a balanced lifestyle. Like, I'm glad that he tried making the game. I think he should have done some project. I think that might have been too big of one to start with. But I do think building something and finding purpose through that was, like, a good path. And really, COVID is what happened. COVID fucking hit. What Byron used to always do is the same thing I would do when I got depressed. We just travel. We just go somewhere. Meet up with some homies, you know? And, like, in COVID, you couldn't fly anywhere. I mean, shit, I got depressed from that for a year and a half. Super depressed. I can't imagine for Byron, like, not having that outlet. So that, I think that it was just, like, a lot of things all at once that, yeah, I don't know. If it wasn't for COVID, I'm confident he'd still be here, because he would have done what he'd done 10 times before, which is travel somewhere with, you know, whatever. He would have met up with Andy or Greek or whoever he liked that month, and they would have partied, and he would have been all right, you know. But I just, yeah, I wish he had found, like, a balanced life before COVID, because I think it would have helped anchor him. I don't know. How have you coped with everything? I mean, I cried a lot the first year, like, once in a while, you know. Right after he passed, it was, like, a couple times a week. I'd just, like, shower or something and just, like, think about it, and I'd, like, cry. And then I would feel okay for a couple days. And then, yeah, I don't know, I went to therapy early, like, last year for some stuff, and said a lot of this stuff out loud for the first time. And that sort of helped, I guess, just the act of saying it out loud. But yeah, I stopped blaming myself more over time. And that helped. And, you know, now it's just like losing a close friend, which fucking sucks. But it's not, I don't blame me for it anymore. So I think that helps, but yeah, I don't know. I think I'm... Yeah, I don't know. accepted it as much as you can, you know. So. What are you looking forward to right now? Looking forward to launching my game, you know. Looking forward to the future. Let's make the best video game. Bring down fiat. Change the world. I'm kidding. Fiat will bring itself down. We just need to watch it burn. What are you drinking? I'm drinking some tea. Glenburn Estate. First flush. Reynad's barber donates $3. Thanks, man. Save your money, though. I sure as shit haven't given you any in years. Did you hire any devs without college degrees? First of all, I can't tell you because I don't really look for it or remember. Like it, I literally like gloss over. My opinion of centralized education is so low that I literally don't even look. I don't give a shit. I do care what they've actually done and what skills they have and what they can make, right? Those things matter. You know, which institution you decided to go into debt for, is less important to me. Yeah. But I know for a fact, like Ben, when we hired Ben, he was like in his first year at Michigan University, I think. We just pulled him straight out of college. A lot of the young folks we have, I think, don't have degrees. When you look back on your streaming days, what are your feelings? I was a huge fan. I love watching you play Hearthstone. You were in a lot of people's homes and lives. Yeah, it was fun, man. It was a different time in my life. You know, I was a pretty different person. I really craved validation and attention, and I knew I was hot shit in card games, but I wanted validation. That's all. I wanted strangers on the internet to validate me. And I found Twitch, and I'm like, oh shit, we're doing it, boys. It's like the future of YouTube. It's like YouTube, but live. And so I went on and I became the biggest Magic streamer in like 3 weeks, like from nothing, right? I had my shitty little raspy mic. I took like the last $500 I had to my name and I bought a laptop at Costco, and I would just stream from this fucking laptop. I got a little cooling pad off Amazon, a little C920 webcam, hoped for the best, and then I would just grind Magic for 13 hours a fucking day. And, you know, eventually 11 p.m., midnight rolls around, you just want to end it, you know, and then pass out, wake up, start all over again. But yeah, it was different back then, you know. Streaming's different a lot depending on how many viewers you have. I can honestly say I really liked the small viewership streams. They were like, because you could talk to everyone, you could have like a real conversation. You build relationships, even if it's just like with usernames in chat, you know. Like there's folks that I saw in here every day for years and years and years and years and years. And a lot of them are still here today. And like, I don't know. It was like, it was building a community, you know? And then I made this plan when Hearthstone came out. Hearthstone was like the first game I ever saw, it was the first game I ever saw on Twitch. Because I got partnered in 2012, right? I'd seen some games come and go at this point, but Hearthstone came out, like the beta started in like 2013, and it was the first game I ever saw that entered Twitch, and then the viewership numbers went up after like a couple weeks. They didn't go down, they went up. I'd never seen this before, in any category, in any game. So I was like, okay, let's pay attention, what is this game? And I looked at Hearthstone and I'm like, oh my god, it's Magic for idiots. I'm the best player in the world at this. Because at the time, like, I don't know, I was really, I really thought highly of myself. I'm like, I really thought I was the best Magic player at the time too. So, because I don't know, online I had the highest ranking, like the little fucking MMR thing that, you know, I was like one of the first players, maybe the first player to break 2K ELO, you know, it's like, that wasn't easy to do back then. There was like no way to cheat online, you know. Anyway, yeah, so I saw Hearthstone come out, but the thing is, there was no ranked mode. There were no ranks. The game, you could hit play, and you just queue into a random dipshit over and over again. And if you're lucky, at the end of the month, they post like one time they did it. They posted a piece of paper. It showed all the highest ranked players or whatever. But they announced that they're going to add a ranked system, and the game's going to officially release, and I fucking planned for it. And it was like, I forgot, the patch was like on a Tuesday or something, like December 23rd or something like that. I forgot exactly when, but I planned for it. Like, I told my boss, I told all my friends, look, I'm gonna make it big on this Hearthstone thing. I swear to God, I just need there to be a ranked mode so that I can get viewers, because I'll definitely be the highest ranked player. And all the other Hearthstone streamers just did arena. They all just drafted, right? Nobody was even trying to build decks. Crip would do it once in a while, right? But I was like cutthroat, right? Like, my decks worked, and it I don't know. So the shocking thing is, it all went down according to plan. They fucking released the patch, and the game has ranked mode for the first time, and it's like December of 2013. And my viewership went from like 100 viewers to like 500, to 5,000 the next day, to 10,000 the next day. Because I was the highest ranked player in Constructed, and I was the first one to stream myself hitting Legend. And the craziest fucking thing happened over the next few months. It was like every deck I would queue against on ladder was my deck, like card for card. Because there weren't like websites for this shit, you know what I mean? Nobody knew what was good. It was like uncharted discovery. And my shit was always like the newest. So everyone was just playing Reynad decks for like a few months. And everyone was watching the Reynad stream, and it felt like being on top of the fucking world. You know, because I was a little... You know, you're young, you want attention and money and bitches and validation, and you want to win at stuff. And it felt like I went from sandwich delivery driver to doing all of those things in the course of like a few weeks. And I planned it. It wasn't like random. It's like I scheduled it, and it went according to plan. And the fucking first night my viewership went up, I called my boss and quit. And I asked all of you dipshits if I should quit. 9 people out of 10 said, no, definitely don't do it. So that's when I knew it was the right decision to quit. So, yeah, I texted my boss, like, on stream, like, yeah, I'm not coming in tomorrow. Yeah, so... Yeah, I don't know, it went okay. And then... Yeah, it was different back then, though, you know? There wasn't a ton of money in it. I was just happy to make, like, $50 in a day, enough to make rent or whatever. I was doing coaching sessions on the side to make money. I was charging, like, $75 an hour to coach people in Hearthstone. But you know, it wasn't like streaming was a new thing to me. I'd already been on the website for a few years then. I'd already been partnered. I'd already streamed Magic and burnt out on it. And I already knew like all the good and bad that came with streaming. And I knew that long term, you don't build skills that contribute to society. You don't grow as a person. You don't like build good mental habits. No. Your serotonin level just directly correlates with your viewership. And if your viewership goes down 10%, you're 10% less happy that day. It goes up 20%, you're 20% more happy that day. Every fucking day you search for yourself on Reddit and you get more into this like self-obsessed rabbit hole of attention, and inevitably you think you're some fucking celebrity, because how could you not be? Look at how that idea is validated around you every second of every day. And you are the guy on stage, and it's just you, and it's a dictatorship, and everyone's watching you and talking to you. And I basically realized, like, fuck, man, I don't think this is helping me become the person I want to be. I don't know if this website will still even exist in 5 years, first of all. This was, like, very early, you know. Let alone, like, the idea of playing games for a living back then. Like, I couldn't get my own place because none of the renters would validate my source of income. Like, none of them. They thought I was selling drugs because my money came from $3 PayPal donations, you know, kids calling me a homosexual 10 times a day. You know, wouldn't my mom be proud, huh? And yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I basically was just aware of all those issues with it, and basically just a few months after that first stream where I went from like 100 viewers to 500, it was like maybe 3 months after that, I founded Tempo, because I realized, okay, I need some exit. Do I want to go to university and study something and just use the money I make streaming to pay for tuition? Or do I want to just like use my money to try to start some business and run my face into the wall? And I've always fucking hated school, so I was always going to try it, you know. And I figured, you know, hey, either I run the company into the ground, or maybe it turns into something, or whatever. Either way, I learn stuff. If the goal is to learn stuff, I thought failing was the best way to do that. And so yeah, I just founded the company, and I just started with what I knew. TSM was hot shit at the time. I used to watch Odd One and all the OG like league guys stream back in the day. And I was like, yeah, well, you know, all these other esports orgs, they started in League of Legends. Like literally all of them. League of Legends or Counter-Strike, no other games. Back then, the only money in esports was in League of Legends, no other game. Sponsors didn't care about a single other game. Like, I remember talking to Jack from Cloud9 one year. He told me one year they just had the League of Legends team, and then the next year they added 7 more teams and 7 other games, and their revenue went up like 20% or something, or 30%. It's like all League of Legends, you know? So I thought, like, okay, well, there's all these League of Legends guys. I can make the first org that's not from League of Legends, you know? Like, yeah, Hearthstone seems like hot shit. I think we're going to be hot shit for a while. I'm the best to ever fucking do it in this game. Let's make an org. That seems to be what people do after they get Twitch famous, you know? Little did I know, it's a horseshit business model that people have just been trying to replicate for 20 years, but it's just a bad influencer marketing agency in every way. It's yeah. Either you turn it into an influencer marketing company, or you go bankrupt, or you turn it into like a venture-backed Ponzi scheme that needs to continually sell the future and some fucking story of huge leagues for revenue that never materializes. But there's always another chump in line that wants to own a sports team, so you can always, so you know, like a lot of teams went down that route. I was like, I want to sleep easy at night. I want to like be proud of what I built. How do I turn this into a real business? So, you know, over time we shifted into more of a media company, built out a production arm, started making shows, selling shows. So you guys might have seen like the IRL stuff that we were doing with Game Changers and like Hive Mind. Sold a few seasons of that. Sold like 20 episodes of Game Changers to Sony, or sorry, to Samsung. That was awesome. It was like, the production stuff was going well, but I really wanted to like make the game. I needed some sort of like product that was scalable, because the esports team is a service company. It's not a sports team, it's a service company. Your revenue is entirely sponsor driven. So I wanted to be a product company instead. It was more scalable. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of, I guess I gave you guys a life story. I forgot what question I was answering, but somebody asked about early days of streaming, so that's kind of how we got here. Yeah. What's your connection to Dr. Squatch? They sponsored us for a while, yeah, and we've done a lot of content for them and shows. Just like a company partner, yeah. Good guys to work with. They've really embraced us making whatever we want to make, you know. I do have the cool trash can, but I unplugged it so people would stop talking about it. It kept opening up. How do you make hair on head? Thank you, Beto. I remember you talking about Archon and saying, let's see who's still around a year from now. Literally 1 year later, they fell apart and disbanded. Business in a nutshell, right? But yeah, nobody goes back after the fact and is like, oh, Reynad was right. No. I'm just the asshole in the moment. And then, and then, you know, I keep thinking about that too. Like the older I get, like how much does it matter to be right? Shockingly little, shockingly often. Do you still do Seat Story Cups? Nah, but dude, I love Seat Story Cup energy. I think that's what esports should be. That's what I want, like, yeah. I got big plans for Bazaar esports. I have a very different vision for what esports should be. Like, as jaded as I am about the traditional esports business model, it's never going anywhere. Esports will always be here. The question is it always going to be an afterthought, shitty marketing department on top of a game that's run by like three people that don't understand it? Or do you want to like build it into its own thing that's scalable? And I think it's doable. I think the big like fallacy with what all the venture-backed dipshits that tried to make esports work as a business, I think like what's wrong with their thinking is basically like they think that esports is an observer experience, just like sports is an observer experience, right? If you're a football fan, you're going to watch more football than you play. You're going to go to the stadium to watch other people play football. You're going to spend money on that viewing experience, on that observer experience. And the issue with esports is it is not an observer experience. Esports is a participant experience. So the esports fans don't want to spend money on a jersey and a $10 beer and tickets. If they're a fan of League of Legends esports, they want to spend their money on League of Legends. They want to buy the skins. So it's like you need to own the IP in order to really make money off esports. But once you do own the IP, you could do some really cool shit with it, you know? You could try to clone the NFL and always try to look like normal sports, but personally I think it's a very archaic model for a bunch of reasons anyway, and it's never been a particularly solid business, even traditional sports leagues. And I think that esports can be something that's done at scale with the intent not of maximizing viewership, but of maximizing participation. Try to get people to actually play your game and compete in it and have that be your KPI. And the more people that compete in it, the more people care about who the best is and the more credibility that the tournaments have. And it's more of like a grassroots, bottom-up type of growth, you know? It's like, because what esports is at its best is like a pure meritocracy. It's like a arcade era. Some of you guys might be old enough or might have been in SoCal or something to remember this, but like, you know, in the arcade machine era, which is arguably where a lot of esports started, you know, it's just a bunch of kids getting dropped off in an arcade room, and there's just a huge line of kids watching a game of Street Fighter on one machine, and they all put up their quarter on the screen to mark their place in line, you know. And if you're the shittiest, newest kid, you can still go up, wait in line, play against the best player, get your ass kicked, and go back up, and you get better over time, and this whole like social hierarchy develops based on who's good at the game. And you know, you could have this like wimpy little 80-pound nerd who's just the best player in the room, and he's the coolest kid because of that. And I don't know, it's just, but everyone's a participant, you know. They're not just there to observe. Even when they do observe, when they're waiting for their turn in line, they bring the hype, you know. They improve the observer experience. So like I'm a big fan of what FGC does, and I think card games have a lot of that same strength, you know. It's like, you know, with League of Legends and Overwatch and all these other games, it's like, it's so, nobody knows how you get drafted to like the best teams, you know what I mean? It's like it's a very ambiguous process to become pro. But in card games, it's just like open tournaments. You just fucking show up, and sometimes you get paired against the pro, you know? Like, I knocked Kibler's ass out of a tournament when I was 15 in Minnesota. Felt great. He tweeted about it after, all salty too. It felt great. It hooked me. It's like... Happy to see you streaming again. Does it mean you could be full-time? Nah, I love myself too much to stream full-time these days. But I am going to be streaming more, you know. Game's coming out this year. Got to market it. I got to get all of you chumps to download it. So, yeah, I'll go live more. I got to think of some content that's, like, worth making, though, you know. I want to make shit I'm proud of. Maybe a podcast, maybe I'll do some political shit, I don't know, maybe more comedy, maybe whatever the fuck this is, where I just like go live, long form, and just ramble into a microphone for hours and see what happens, you know. Reynad, I'm watching with my aunt. She's 78. She's loving the stream. Oh, that's cool. Hope you're having a great day, man. Are you on the Mitch Jones cycle? Nah. I mean, I do feel like I'm part of the Mitch Jones cycle, you know? There's always that point in the cycle where Mitch and Reynad meet up again and talk through life and try to, you know, try to nudge him in the right way. I don't know what he's doing now, though. Yeah, I saw Mitch like a month ago. There was some like album release up in LA. And oh, I saw him at the Stream Awards too. We hung out for a bit. Yeah, he told me back then he wanted to stream again because he missed the attention. He's always like so self-aware and honest about it. You know, I fucking love that. Yeah, I don't know. He's got an Irish girlfriend. Yeah, Ro's awesome. His girlfriend's like really good for him. I think she's awesome. She's normie as fuck. I don't think so. She gets after it in life. I don't know. Likes travel and stuff. They're kind of like they're really like a good match, I think, because they're like different but complementary, you know. Thoughts on Slay Aspire? I don't know, it's a good game, you know. Drug stories? I don't know if I have drug stories. I mean, there's one of the things that changed after I stopped streaming regularly. I did become like a habitual weed smoker for a couple years there. I quit cold turkey a couple weeks ago. I haven't smoked since, you know. It wasn't all bad. I just don't think I have the discipline to keep it under control. You know, it always like starts like one joint at night once in a while, sleep a little better, get a little creative, But then it always ends up with like chain smoking joints as like a stress management tool, and then I just get very little done all day, and it's not, you know. So I decided to stop, but I do still, you know, microdose once in a while with shrooms. I'm a big fan of shrooms. I think they're good for like really getting at some of those harder questions you got to start asking yourself at some point, you know. But you know, it's not like it's like a couple times a month kind of thing at most. They don't even work more often than that. It's kind of what's great. What do you do for stress management now? I mean, I don't know, man. I guess I go live. I don't know. I'm not feeling a ton of, I mean, there's things to be stressed about, don't get me wrong, but like compared to like 4 months ago, I'm a lot less stressed now, you know. Peak stress was like end of last year when I was I had to fundraise, and like we just signed on all these like great people, but I needed to like bring the money in to like really have like, I don't know, fundraising is like peak stress for me. I fucking hate sales. It's also just a really hard thing to do in general in business, but we got it done, and now I'm like way less stressed. So now I'm just kind of like back to focusing on making the game as good as it can be, making sure the company's set up for success. Yeah. Do you meditate or do some form of thought hygiene? I definitely should, but I do not, no. I mean, I tried. It's hard. Best business book you read? I don't read business books. I don't know, I just do stuff, you know, and then I learn along the way, and I like pay attention to what works, what doesn't. I end up learning a lot of counterintuitive lessons about the way people behave this way, which is like a pretty big deal. Like a lot about the world works the exact opposite of how you would expect it to. A lot of the most important things. So that's kind of what I like about that approach, just like going at it. That stuff smacks you in the face, and you can't not learn that lesson. But You planning to join a rock band? I was, and then I broke my guitar. Ah, fuck it though. Any business advice for a person who wants to open up their business? I mean, look, man, opening up a business is like, it's like choosing to be a musician, you know? My advice for the average person is like, don't. But I do think it's a great thing to do for the people that do it. And I would encourage more people to try. And I think like, I would encourage everyone to do it if they could accurately judge the risk. Like, if you take on the appropriate amount of risk, so if it doesn't work out, you don't like completely fuck yourself. I'm all for people trying it, you know. But there's also something to like really putting yourself out there, and like the way I did it, I would have very much been fucked. Had it not gone well, or at least I would have had to fall back to streaming, which is really a fate worse than hell once you are familiar with it. But yeah, I guess like one of the good things about making failure really hurt you is you're really motivated to not fail. So I think part of the reason I didn't give up for so long was like because of the consequences of so it can kind of help, I guess. But I'm not saying it's like a responsible way to motivate yourself, you know. It depends too. Like, you know, I was a guy in my early 20s, no dependents, you know. I could take all that risk because the only one that gets fucked is me. If you have kids or if you have like family that relies on you, it's like different, you know. Everyone has their own like responsibility structure around themselves. So I just say, like, be responsible if you're gonna try it. But and if you do try starting a business, I think the biggest piece of advice I could give, it's gonna sound a little abstract, but like, I used to think that making the business succeed was all about improving the business. And like, you focus on the business and you make the business better. Or you focus on the product, you make the product better. And that's how you make your company more successful. And I realized this was not the way to make meaningful progress. I mean, it's like important stuff to do along the way, but I didn't have to change the company. I mostly had to change me. And the more I changed me, that's when like really positive changes started happening. So it was like, yeah, I guess I would just go into it with a willingness to like change parts of yourself to overcome obstacles, I guess. Can you expand on that? Well, yeah, like I was just a very angry person for all my 20s, didn't trust anyone. I refused to have a business partner. I always wanted to make sure I had majority control of the company. I needed to be a dictatorship because I was unwilling to trust anyone or delegate or whatever, you know, and it limited me because like it basically meant my company hit the ceiling of like 30-ish people or whatever, and it just couldn't get bigger. Because you can't get bigger without like delegating and trusting other people to run very important parts of your company with their own decision making without like you being in there day to day. And that leap, I mean, it took me 7 years till I was comfortable making that leap, right? And part of that is like finding people that are so good at what they do that you do trust them enough. But whatever, it's like kind of abstract, but yeah, I had to become like more trusting. That was like not easy for me. Sales was another thing. Like basically, I wanted to do this big project, right? First I wanted to make an esports team. I wanted to make like a media company, game studio, and all of these things are very expensive, right? Like you need a shitload of money to do this, and I basically I hated fundraising, and I would do the parts of the job that I enjoyed, the creative parts, the game design parts. And I do the parts that are necessary with like staffing and production stuff, but like I had to like become a lot more willing to go out there and pitch and tell my story and brag to like investors. And it's not, I know on stream I'm like confident and cocky, but I'm like kind of in character by default, you know. It's like Reynad is really just certain parts of Andre turned up to 11, and Andre's more timid and shy, I guess, normally. So like I had to really go through a radical personality shift in terms of fundraising, which is like, by the way, half of your fucking job as a CEO. You know, you can't. Yeah. The other thing I learned is like, man, almost no matter what goal I pick, there's a lot more involved with that thing once you get there than you initially expect. Like what I mean by that is like a lot of people today, a lot of kids especially, they want to be like YouTubers or streamers. They think this is like the ideal lifestyle. These are the people they grew up watching. They think they understand this. I want to do that. It looks fun. It looks enjoyable. I get attention. I get clout. But then it's like, what they don't see are, like, okay, you want to be a big YouTuber. Well, being a big YouTuber means, or being a big streamer means streaming like 8 hours a day. You want to be bigger than these people, you have to work harder than them. It's like a competitive system, like any other competitive system. The only way you win is by doing what the other participants are unwilling or unable to do. So you work harder, you work smarter, and it's like, there's a... People think streaming is like, oh, I'll play the games I want to play, and then I'm playing games all day and life is good. But it's like, no. Being top of streaming means playing the game like, you know, an extra 6 hours more than you would enjoy, and then like doing it anyway, because if you don't, some other kid's taking your spot. And in the case of game development, like I thought, hey, I really want to like design a better card game, and I think I can, and I want to focus on the building the game part, making the design decisions. But I can never ship that game without having enough funding and the team to build it. And those things don't happen overnight. It's not like you just get a pile of money and then you hire some people to build your business. Or everybody that knows nothing about business thinks this is how it works. Oh, you get some money, then you hire some other people to run it, and then it's all easy. No. It's not how business works at all. So I guess like I wanted to be a game developer. I didn't know all that it entailed out of the gate. And now that I do know, maybe not all, but like way more of what it entails, now you have to like think about the totality of that. Like, okay, do you want to do the fun parts of streaming plus the unfun parts of streaming? Because there's no separating the two. That's what streaming means, is the totality of those things, right? Game development. Okay, I want to make the biggest game studio in the world. Sounds fun, but that also means doing things I fucking hate, like fundraising. So I don't know. I guess that's like something I would think about just in general in life, is like, try not to let yourself only do the parts you like in something, you know what I mean? Becoming successful oftentimes means being willing to do the less fun parts. Yeah, the war in Ukraine is really sad. I have about a dozen people in Lviv working on the game. Our art team is out there. Lviv just got bombed for the first time today. Like 7 people died. Yeah, it fucking sucks. What is there to say about it? I was in Ukraine a few months ago. Like, I go there very often. I was born in Kherson, and it's bombed to shit and occupied now by fascists, Russian fascists. I don't know. It's yeah, at the same time, it's like, it's the whole like Attack on Titan theme, right? It's like, yeah, I can get real mad at the Russians, and then we do some shit, and then they do some shit, and then we do some shit, and then everyone's always gonna use the past to justify present evils, and I don't know, it's just, I'm just disappointed in people. You know? What can you do though, you know? But yeah, if the game does take off, if it does do well, first 2 things we buy: shitload of Bitcoin, nuclear bunker. A nice one. And then I feel like we have the floor case covered just in case. Maybe some arms too, you know, like some Jeeps. Whatever you need for like a Fallout scenario. what would that be? What's the Fallout 4 shopping list? Should probably write that down ahead of time, huh? Bottle caps. It's crazy that 4,000 of you are watching me right now. People really have no taste anymore, huh? It's ridiculous. It's like I'm the only one not stealing Golden Ramsay content or something. Everyone comes here. What's up, boys? It's like a podcast. It's nice. No, it's reassuring, you know. It's nice to feel like I still have it, you know. Maybe I'll stream more often. Do you talk with Frodan? Yeah, actually, I did talk with Frodan. I interviewed Frodan like a couple weeks ago, actually. Then I saw him at the Stream Awards. And then I was at his wedding at the end of last year, too. Saw some Hearthstone players there for the first time in a while. That was cool. I'm the new CEO, Andy. Okay, first of all, motherfucker, I was a CEO when I was watching Malixia stream on his little fucking solo channel, alright? Long before he was CEO, CLG. I've always been CEO, Andy. But yeah, I know what you mean. His like content was more like the only adult on Twitch, which is like a cool niche. I guess that's me now, huh? I'm a fucking boomer. How do you motivate yourself on the days when you don't want to leave bed and just cry into the pillow all day long? Well, I don't motivate myself in spite of those feelings. I lean into those feelings and I try to understand them, you know? You should cry it out and you should pay attention to how you feel and you should, like, understand that, where it's coming from. And eventually, I mean, for me, it usually leads to, like, trying to fix the problem at its root rather than, like, the symptoms. You don't want to, like, distract yourself. I try not to let myself distract myself from those things. But I went too far with it for a long time, too. It's like, the thing about problems is that the brain is always finding them. It's like what it's built for. And if you look for them, you're always going to find them. So it's like, yeah, as much as you don't want to, like, let yourself distract yourself from real issues that you could be solving instead, at the same time, you don't want to, like, only fixate on problems because you can be very successful that way, but you're always unhappy. So it's like a balance sort of in the middle where, yeah. But yeah, I would say, yeah, if you're really not feeling it, don't force yourself to do stuff you're not in the mood for doing. Like, try to understand that feeling, where it's coming from. Yeah. Do you see yourself still being CEO in, for example, 10 years? Currently, you see a lot of young individuals have successful companies shifting from CEO to COO. I've been thinking about that a lot. I always want my projects to be a meritocracy. So if at any point I feel like there's a better CEO, like somebody that's better at this role than me, I will hire them in a heartbeat. The CEO is such an interesting role. It's a lot like being a streamer, and it's a lot like being a single member LLC in a company where all of the accountability, like, starts and ends with you, right? It depends on the corporate structure. It depends if you have, like, a board that's, like, watching you like a hawk or whatever. Like, in our case, like, we have board control, right? We don't. So basically, the thing about being a CEO is, this is like the paradox. It's like, the better you are at it, the less enjoyable the job is, I think, a lot of times. I don't know. It's like, if I am enjoying the day-to-day, I feel like I'm not working hard enough sometimes, if that makes sense. And I've honestly asked myself, like, man, do I want to be a CEO? What is actually the dream? The actual dream job is, like, chairman of the board or something, so you do fuck all. But you need, like... What's most important to me is that there is a competent CEO in this role, you know? And, like, who would I hire to, you know? Like, we have people in our company that I fully trust to run the company and do trust to run the company, and they do fully run it. The CEO stuff is different from, like, operational stuff, though, right? It's, like, very political, and it's very salesy, and it's a lot of optics, and there's a bunch of check boxes I hit that, like, some random hire just doesn't. Like, what I'm doing right now, like, I'm fucking bored on a Monday, and I decided to go live and, like, talk to you guys, and now 4,000 people are talking about the Bazaar, the upcoming free-to-play children's card game from Tempo, releasing later in 2022. And now we got some downloads. And that's like a hell of a superpower to get as a CEO, you know what I mean? It's like the Elon thing, you know? Like, he was like a business owner that had to, like, learn how to become an influencer. I'm an influencer that had to learn how to become a business owner. It's like, so I think I'm, like, uniquely, There's just like certain things I can do that are really hard to hire for, I guess. So it's hard to replace myself with someone better. Like it's also a question of like, what do we want to be making, you know? I could definitely staff the company with just veteran game talent from other studios, but then we're going to make products like other studios. And like a CEO needs to set the vision, and I have a very different vision for what I want to be building than other game studios. Very, very different vision. And I also think I'm just fucking good at it. Like, I wasn't that good for many, many years, but like, I founded this company in 2014. This is my 8th year of being a CEO. Most of my adult life, I've been a CEO, like, since I was 22. I'm 30 now. It's, and every year I try to get better. Every day I try to get better. And I think it's, like, increasingly less likely that I want to rotate myself out. But, like, that being said, sometimes I get, like, unmotivated from, like, the nature of the work, you know? If it was all fundraising and all politics all the time, I would not want to be CEO. And during those periods, I do it in spite of not liking the day-to-day work. But I'm good at it anyway, even though I don't like it, you know? So, like, I do it. But I could definitely see, like, if the company's crazy successful and I could just, like... It's like a question of, like, how hands-on do you want to be, and, like, how interested am I in what we're building right now relative to any, like, potential future. Like, I don't fucking know. Maybe one day I'm, like, 40 and we already have, like, a few billion and I'm really interested in AI or something, and I want to, like, go all in on an AI startup, and I just don't have the bandwidth to, like, do CEO stuff for a game company anymore, you know? And it's like, yeah, totally, I could see... I probably we'd promote from within, but I don't know. Yeah. I wore my Bazaar lanyard to the club and I got mad pussy. Yeah, it is how it works. What kind of music do CEOs listen to? The music with the least legal risk. In this case, game music on my Twitch stream. I can't find jobs. Any tips on being more hireable? Totally, yeah. It's actually a really easy answer. The only thing that matters for being hireable is your skills. Like, because put yourself in the mind of, like, the person doing the hiring. Imagine it's your company, right? And you've invested your own money and your own time and your own, like, effort, and it's like all you want is your company to do well. And you have some problem, right? Like, oh, we need this stuff done day to day, so we need to hire for this position. Well, who do you want in that position, you know? Whatever it is, you want the best person, you know what I mean? You need a graphic designer, you want the best graphic designer. You want a producer, you want the best producer. You want a director, you want the best director. So it's like, basically, there's a whole diverse category of skills that any company needs. So you have to pick the skill that you want to work on day to day. Preferably something that you enjoy, definitely something that you get good at. And the thing is, you're never good at it. Like, when you're born, you're bad at everything. Most of you right now in your 20s are bad at everything. And this is what, but you start doing it anyway, and you try to get better. And some people do get better, you know? It's like a giant game of Fall Guys for any given skill, right? 10,000 dipshits run themselves through this gauntlet. One of them makes it to the end first, and you want to be that guy, right? And you could pick a really niche skill. For me, it was children's card games. I had no skills that contributed to society, no talent. I couldn't do fuck all, right? But I was really good at children's card games. And I worked hard to get good at children's card games. And then eventually, Hearthstone came out, and I jumped on the opportunity. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess, like, yeah, another way of saying this is you're not entitled to a job. I mean, 40% of people are, like, empirically unhireable. Like, you can't... Yeah. The bar for getting hired will only increase over time. Most people are unhireable. If you want a job, you have to actually be the best at making something, you know? And that's not to say it's the only way to get a job, right? You can definitely get a job by, you know, sucking the right dick and, like, doing some networking stuff, but it's not, like, that's not the path to, well, first of all, to just, like, personal fulfillment. I think it's very rewarding to get good at something, to take pride in your work. To get a job without doing that, I don't think would be fulfilling to most people in the long term. But yeah, I don't know. I just I think get good at something and be honest with yourself about how good you are at it. And it's okay if you're bad right now. You just have to try to get better every day, measurably. And yeah, I don't know. I studied software development from scratch off of YouTube for 6 months, and I hosted some web apps. Now I have my first tech interview on Friday. Such a motivating feeling. Exactly. That's the best way to do it. You have the entire collection of human knowledge at your fingertips. Like, use it to learn how to make a thing, and then make the thing. And then show the thing to other people. And somebody will, if it's impressive enough, they'll hire you. It's like, yeah. And if you can't make the thing, you don't really have the skill to begin with, do you? So... The other thing you have to understand is, like, the people doing the hiring are really fucking lazy. Yeah, we want somebody good, but also hiring is fucking exhausting. It's so exhausting. So, having something to point to cuts out all the bullshit. You know, the person doing the hiring will just be like, oh, that looks good. Do that, but this way. And then you're hired, you know? And it's like, yeah, so... Bring Ritzy Who back together again. Oh, I'd love to. What does your day-to-day schedule look like? I don't know, it's different day-to-day, you know. It's a bunch of calls, meetings. I wake up, I'm in some meetings, I sit here in this chair, reading stuff, writing stuff, playing the game all day, thinking. This morning I decided to wake up a little too early, pain in my back, read a fucking 500 comment hate thread about me on Reddit, DM'd some girl something cringy, got ignored. Having a rough go of it today, if I'm being honest, you know. At least my hair looks nice, so I got that going for me. Huh? No, it wasn't Mira. It was a German girl. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, never mind. What we're talking about. I fucked up. Do you look for successful people when you're dating? No, not really. It's like... it would almost be more stressful sometimes. I don't know. I have dated streamers before. It's... yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I look for in a relationship. Like... that... like, I didn't really go to college... and I dropped out of high school. And I was like captain of the robotics team, so, you know, believe it or not, wasn't having a lot of sex in high school either. And And then I did this children's card game thing for all of my 20s, where I was surrounded by like men twice my age. So I really never had like normal dating relationships, you know? It's hard to when you do fucking this for 15 hours a day, you know what I mean? And like most of the girls I would meet and be with are also doing this insane fucking job, and you would just like meet them at some fucking gaming event once every few months, and that wasn't really conducive to like healthy, long-lasting relationships either. So I don't know. I could do what a lot of other streamers did, which is just like try to make as much money as you can, try to get as much clout as you can, get like a trophy girlfriend or a trophy boyfriend. I don't think that would be fulfilling. I'm thinking about it a lot though. Like, what do I want? You know, I do want kids. I do want to get married. I don't know how soon. I think I want to get married. I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for in a woman. I guess I want our values to align, whatever that is. Yeah. But also, she needs to be pretty hot. You know, everyone wants to date someone hotter than them. Marriage is a man-made prison, Jerry. I mean, the reason to do it is to have kids, right? It's a lot better for the kids to have two parents than one. I don't know. I was raised by a single parent. I turned out okay, I guess, but I think the data definitely shows two's better, so. Oh, you're getting married? Congrats, Austin. Everyone's grown up. Except Reynad, huh? In your experience, you just need to roll the dice on dating apps. Yeah, but it's like, I'm not even like physically attracted to like 99% of the girls on there. Maybe it's cause maybe I gotta grind the lower level mobs. Maybe my MMR is too low. I don't know. But then it's like, yeah, then the hot girls, it's like also, I don't think it's a good way of dating. I don't think it's conducive to like what you want in a relationship. Cause kind of the nature of a relationship is like you understand somebody more and you become accepting of who they are, the things you like, but just as importantly, the things you don't, right? And when it's online and you always have the option to like swipe to the next person, I think people move on at like the first thing that doesn't go according to the fairy tale. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think it's a recipe for a lot of shallow relationships back to back to back, rather than like one meaningful one, which is a very different experience. Also, like, I'm not like fucking hunting for it, you know what I mean? Like, I have better shit to spend my time on. I'm gonna make the best game I can make. Do some fucking dumbbell stuff once in a while, so I'm not a completely fat slob, and a nice lady will come along sooner or later that responds to my cringy DMs. The original Tinder streams. Fuck, man, those are so good. Those are fun as hell. Reynad, where'd you get the mug from? So my best friend's a guy named Andre. He gave this to me as a gift for my birthday. He sent me a pack of European Snickers because I said they're way better than American Snickers, and this mug. He's also a giant Chad named Andre, and we both complain mutually that the world is made for tiny people and the cups are too small. So he tried making one himself out of clay, and it wouldn't stay together. I think his friend's mom made this one, but it's got a smiley face in there, and I don't know. It's a little lopsided and stuff, but I use it every day. It's my biggest cup. General advice when running and starting a new business? Nah. Nobody gives a shit about other people's money. Apply that how you will. I met my spouse on Tinder. The first thing I wrote to her was, marry me and have my children. Hi. We now have a 3-month son. Congrats, dude. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. I think I'm like too forward with stuff. I just don't want to like play the game, I think, is part of it, and they do, and it's just like, whatever, that's the reality. I gotta do the fucking mating dance and flirt and shit. And I'm just a lazy asshole. I don't know. You know, part of it too is like, almost every girl I try to date is not almost, like literally every girl is European. Like every time, you know what I mean? Part of it maybe is like a cultural thing, I thought, you know, like I grew up in Ukraine, I'm a Ukrainian immigrant, like I spend a lot of time in Europe, I always have. It's like, I tend to get along with folks there a little more, but I don't know, I think it might be just like, the fact that they're so far away helps make it non-committal, because like I always have to bounce after a couple months, you know, so there's like, so subconsciously, I wonder if like that's why I go for European girls, because it's like I know that it can't work long term, and there's like an out. You know what I mean? Some of you guys aren't going to like those noises. There we go. After the Bazaar release, you plan to stream regularly again? Yeah, maybe even leading up to the release. I'll definitely be streaming pretty often. Yeah, I want to do it like... Well, I don't want is a strong word. I will do it to help market the game. I think part of it is cathartic, so I like that. Yeah, I don't know how often. I want to make content that I'm proud of, though, you know? Like, I can do the podcast thing and just kind of talk off the top of my head about ideas and stuff. But I feel like the longer I go without streaming, the more of those ideas I have bottled up. And then when I do stream, I end up talking about more interesting stuff. You know, so it's like this stream is like the second one I've done in the last week, which is like, you know, normally I do it like once every half a year or something. But I definitely feel like I'm kind of out of my Well, we kind of went over a lot of the same stuff, you know. Took some shots at fiat currency, talked about some political stuff, was sad about the war for a bit. Talked about a bunch of stuff, I guess. I guess I wonder if I would just like run out of thought content like this if I just did it daily. Maybe. Reynad, what's your favorite dish you've ever eaten? There was one time after a tournament in Shanghai, Hearthstone tournament. It was actually that NA versus EU tournament. I talked about it on the last stream where I complained about cheating. There's all that drama. But right after that tournament, we went to a little family restaurant that had like 2 tables inside, and we ordered steak, and it was the best meal I've like ever had in my life. And I don't think I can ever get it again, and I don't even remember how they made it. It was like filleted, like cut in half, and it was like a little flower pattern. They like laid it in a circle on a plate. Amazing. It was like, and they had guava juice. I remember it was guava juice and snake. And it was like me, Chalky, some other guys. I think we were playing Liar's Dice. It was fun. Yeah. Is always still a part of Tempo? I mean, not officially, but I mean, always kind of, you know? Like, you know, we'll do anything for it. What's a common misconception you hear about yourself that annoys you? Common? It's just like whatever people choose to lie about on Reddit, you know? Like, it's different on any given day, you know? A lot of those lies propagate, you know? Fuck, man, there was one that people used to say that really pissed me off. They said I was a rich kid. The only reason I could start a company is because of my parents' money. Whereas it's like, I was born in a fucking, like, village in Ukraine to a single mom, immigrated to America because she married a mailman. We never had money. I don't know, like, I was on like fucking discount lunches and shit. Like, it wasn't, I don't know. People, like, losers will do anything to try to strip credit away from winners, because it's like, it justifies their own failure. And yeah, I don't know. Anything that tries to like discredit what I've done really pisses me off, especially when it's like measurable, you know. I don't think it's arrogant to call yourself the best player in a game when you can literally become rank 1 on the leaderboard on demand. It's like, you know, maybe it's arrogant for like the 200 guys behind them that call themselves that and can't do it. But I wasn't some fucking bubble player, you know, like.
I dig my hole, you build a wall. I dig my hole, you build a wall. One day that wall is gonna fall.
I'm running to the bathroom, boys. I'll be right back. See you in a minute. What's up, Tides?
Gonna build that wall until it's done.
Given its current status, how big would the Bazaar have to be for you to be happy with the thing? Define big. It has to be big enough that I can, like, do the other things I want to do with the company, which is, like, the animation studio and movies and theme parks and all. You know, it doesn't have to be, like, theme parks day one or whatever, but I want it to be successful enough that I can build on the IP with other products, basically. I definitely order food more than I cook it, yeah. I mean, maybe I should cook. I don't know. It's definitely a good thing to cook if you can. I just, I don't know. I'm lazy, I guess. How did you feel the first few days after quitting weed cold turkey? I mean, definitely had the urge to smoke, yeah. You know, thought about going to buy a pack of joints or whatever. Fucking yesterday hit me hard. I was like, oh man, it's Sunday. Is it so bad if I just get a couple pre-rolls and just chill and play games today? There's nothing I wanted to do more. But I've I've been down that road a couple times now. Yeah, I know exactly where that ends. So I think it really is kind of cold turkey or nothing in a way. I got my girlfriend bringing me Taco Bell right now, living the life. Damn, Poby, I'm jealous as hell. I haven't even eaten today. It's like 3:20. I should order some food. What should I get? Uh-oh, my account called me. Oh shit, she got back to me. I don't know what to say. I shouldn't do it now. I'm fucking streaming. Alright, I feel way better now. Way better. I was sad more about that than the 500 mean comments this morning on LSF, you know. Reynad, what happened to the Hive Mind show? Loved it. Yeah, I loved it too. Well, what happened? We did 3 seasons. We did one with Tyler one. We did like a Riot episode as well. We want to do more seasons, but dude, I had to fight Twitch tooth and nail to get them to get Ludwig and Charlie on the show. They wanted to use like non-streamers basically, and we got them on, and they fucking crushed it, right? But then, like, it definitely became, like, the Ludwig Charlie, like, it became part of the show's identity, right? And Ludwig got the YouTube deal, which I think made it, like, a conflict, right? So I think that's, like, been the only thing holding up the next season. But, no, Twitch loves the show, too. They definitely want to do more. We have some other, like, variants of it in the works. And I was also thinking of just doing other game shows and just like self-funding them, you know, because like we honestly have the best interactive production team in the world. Nobody could have made a show like that other than us in the world, you know. And it's not like other streamer productions where it's like 2 guys get like a DSLR and set it up in a room and like, okay, now we're doing a show because we have one guy with a switcher. It's like, no. This was like a fucking clean show running. Like, it was fucking polished. I want to do more shows like that. It's fucking cool with doing interactive media. It's like the kind of thing you couldn't do on TV, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I'd love to do more Hive Mind. I think we will. Just don't know exactly when. Why does Reddit hate you so much? It's not Reddit. I don't know. But LSF hates everybody, I think. What do you think of Jerma's Dollhouse streams? So I haven't seen his Dollhouse streams. I'm a huge fucking Jerma fan. The way he thinks about making experiences and shows on Twitch is very similar to how I think about it. I was a big fan of what he did with the carnival games, things like that. Some people just get it as like, okay, it's an interactive experience, and they approach it like an interactive experience designer. It's like game design. It's I don't know. Anyway. Actually, I voted. I remember I voted for Jerma in the Streamer Awards. They had some blanks. I was like one of the weighted like panel voters or whatever, so like my vote counted more or whatever. And there was some blanks for some of the questions. I forgot which like, or for some of the awards. I forgot which one I submitted him for, but I submitted Jerma for some stuff. Why'd you read that? Well, dude, LSF is weird, man. It's like, I mean, I was like, we were on LSF way before that subreddit blew up, and I remember like back when I was an asshole more on stream, more of an asshole. When I was less good at hiding it, let's put it that way. They were entirely on my side. It's like the worst. It was like the ruder I was, the more they liked me, you know? And then anytime I do a stream where it's like, okay guys, I really believe in myself, I want to make a video game, I'm trying my best, I really like invested my all in this project, and I spent, you know, half of my 20s on it, and I really believe in it, and I hope it goes well, and I hope you guys like it. And that's when they just move in for the fucking kill, you know what I mean? Because it's like, they're just contrarian cattle, is like the best way to put it, you know? You know, like one gorilla wants to say something mean about the topic, and then the next 100 gorillas parrot him, and there's no room for nuance or facts or whatever, you know? There's just kind of a vibe that the comment section is propagating. But it's not like unique to LSF. I think it's just kind of like a byproduct of forums as a communication medium. I don't know. Reynad, do you watch any other streamers? Almost never. I mean, I was watching I was watching this Magic streamer for a bit, for like a week when I was playing Magic. A guy called Aspiring Spike. Mostly because he played Modern, which was like the format I played the most when I was real into Magic towards the end. I really felt like I was the best Modern player in the world at that time. I mean, dude, I top 8'd like 5 Moto PTQs in like 1 month, which is like, one of those was sealed, but like 4 were Modern, and that is not an easy feat in 900 person 10 round tournaments. Or you can lose one time. And I really fucking did some of the decks, some of the Glittering Wish Jund decks and stuff that I was winning PTQs with. Whew, some of the best deck building I've ever done. I fucking love that format. But yeah, the more I watched him, the more I realized, oh my god, this guy is just me from like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Actually longer, fuck, like 10 years ago. 2012 is when I was streaming Magic. And the more I was watching him, the more I would get annoyed at like the types of... He would get so annoyed by other people's opinions of things and how wrong they are. And I was like, fuck. this is really annoying to listen to. But wait, that's what my content was for years. Like, I totally empathize, you know? So it's like, I kind of stopped watching, but I also kind of tried to get some self-awareness out of it to try to, you know, like before like I used to just like hit the start streaming button and then we'd just start talking and I would like always be angry, so the stream would always sound angry. And today I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna stream, let's give ourselves a little pep talk, not gonna complain. Not to say I haven't complained, but it's, you know, it's, if I complain, I'm gonna put a smile on, put a little inflection in the voice, let's pretend it's a joke. Yeah. I'm not just calling these Redditors a bunch of cunts because they are, you know. That would be mean if I did it in a ruder tone. But now it's a joke. And everyone's happy. Oh, what kind of food should I order? What do you guys think? It's got to be something sort of healthy. Oh, I'm really glad she responded. Fuck yeah. Pokeball, had one yesterday, otherwise I would. Jimmy John's, there isn't one close enough. Otherwise, I would get Jimmy John's too often, to be honest. I love Jimmy John's. Like, that was my last job before this. But after working there, you, like, know how the sausage is made, literally. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm a big bread enthusiast. Bread is my favorite food in the world. Jimmy John's bread is not exactly bread. It's bread-like. But they give you, like, this spear of dough. And it's rock hard, and you get a box full of a lot of them. And you put it in this oven, and they inflate, and it smells amazing, and the texture is like bread, and you can eat it, and it tastes good. But if you leave it out for like 12 hours, it turns into concrete. And you can bludgeon people to death with your baguette. And I don't want that inside of me anymore. Also, the hot peppers, like, make you shit lava, so there's a lot of, you know, I've been down that road. That's what I'm saying. No, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like sort of part bread, part cement mix. I don't know. It was good for like the first 12 hours. Yeah. There's Jersey Mike's. There's another sandwich place that's better. I'm gonna go to that one actually. I get Lebanese food. Cheesecake Factory. Nobody feels good about themselves after eating Cheesecake Factory. Not that the food's not good. It is good. It's just like I always end the meal full of regret. Thai food. Panera bread. I don't know what I want, man. Would you ever do an improv stream again? That was the best. Dude, that was so fucking awesome. The one with Andy Milanakis, yeah. That is one of our Game Changer streams that I always wanted to do more of, and I kept talking to the production guys about doing them more. It had this crazy thing, which is the viewership just kept going up. Like when you cut the stream, if the viewership is at the peak, that's like a special golden stream. Like that's something with the formula was because normally it's not how streams go down. Normally you hit your plateau point and then you just plateau and then you cut. But when a stream just keeps going, you know, and we ended at like 6K viewers or whatever, but we started at like 1K. It was like, and it just kept going up, and it was like a pretty short stream, like 3 hours. There was a lot we could have done better about it, but interactive Whose Line Is It Anyway, I think is a slam dunk format. And I know I know it'll crush it on viewership and engagement, and I want to like produce it, right? But then it's like we got to get the sponsor on board for it. We don't exactly have like a sales team built up internally to be selling those deals, so we'll see. You know, I hope like, you know, a couple partners can step in and want to fund a good show, but I don't want to like pay out of pocket to do shows for fun. You know, it's not worth it if you're losing like 100K an episode or whatever, 50K. Oh, that's not what it would cost. It would probably be like 30K an episode for that, 20 maybe. Have you considered ordering Subway? They make sandwiches. I've heard some anti-Subway propaganda. I'm a little bearish on Subway right now. I don't know what I want, man. DoorDash isn't that, like, good at suggesting things anymore. You want sushi? I do kind of want sushi. Kind of always want sushi, though. I think we're gonna go with the Lebanese food. We're gonna get chicken tawouk. Tawouk? I don't know how to pronounce it. Fatouche salad. Whatever I ordered last time, it was pretty good. And the vegetable soup? Is it too much food? Might be too much food. Trying not to overorder so much. Just get some hummus on the side. I mean, it's gonna be like my one meal today. Might as well make it a banger. I can get a skewer. You know, in Ukraine, we always called skewers, was it shashliki or shish kebab? No, shish kebab was the American one. It was shashliki, I think. But I wonder where that word came from. Shashliki? Это украинское слово или турецкое? Lebanese cheesecake. Dude, I'm not paying $14 for cheesecake. Out of principle. I'm gonna get a skewer of something on top of this chicken thing. Get roasted onion tomato skewer. Yeah, let's do that. Get a vegetable one. Alright, I'm on board. Should be good. Reynad, are you a khachapuri enthusiast? Reynad, do you like animals? Most of them, yeah. Humans I'm not so sure about, but you know. Are there any foods you refuse to eat? I mean, you know, I try not to eat too much sugar these days and all that kind of stuff. I try to like sort of be vegetarian, but not like religiously. Like I eat meat most meals, or like half of my meals or something, but like I try to have most of it be vegetarian most of the time, if that makes sense, or vegan. No dairy really. But yeah, it's like not religious, you know. I like every kind of food. I love traveling. I'm like the least picky eater ever. The only foods I could honestly say I dislike, I would say sea urchin, and I would say, I used to say cinnamon, but I even like cinnamon sometimes. I've gotten over that. Mostly sea urchin is like the only food I can think of that I don't like. And there's one time I remember I lived in Hangzhou, which is like or Hangzhou, or I don't know how you pronounce this city, but it was like a tiny little suburb of Shanghai with just 10 million people, right? And I was there for a month, and I flew out there with Hyped and Gara for this team tournament. They wanted to invite Tempo out as the American team in this Chinese league. It was a Hearthstone tournament, and we brought Dog along because we needed one more player. And was Tides with us on that trip? Tides might have been unavailable or something. I forgot. But basically lived in China for like a month, and we would go eat like at these like local places where locals ate all the time, and everything would have bones in it. And I don't mean like would have bones in it. I mean all food was like 95% bone. It was like you get chicken bones with some meat still on it, right? And it's all pointy and sharp. It was like eating caltrops. It was I remember I didn't like that too much, but the food itself was like tasty. It was just I love Chinese food in general, but I definitely had some high variance meals, right? My favorite meal I've ever had in China, some of my least favorite too. Jellyfish I didn't like that much. It wasn't like bad, but jellyfish was just like flavorless. Like it tasted exactly how it looks. It was like holodets without meat, which is like this Slavic meat jelly. Jellyfish wasn't great. I had turtle there, and I don't mean turtle soup, and I don't mean cooked turtle. I mean they brought a turtle, which it looked like they booped with a hammer and split in 4 pieces. But it was just the whole turtle. Like, head sticking out, all of it, and you could like pick a leg, and it still has a quarter of the like it was literally just picture a full turtle, and you just cut it into quadrants, shell and all. I think it was cooked, maybe not. It might have been turtle sushi, I don't know, but that wasn't great. Which is surprising because I think turtles are supposed to be some of the tastiest things to us. You should see what happened to the turtle population when people started showing up in the world. We killed all of them. I mean, all. Like, Darwin was trying to bring back giant Galapagos turtles over and over and over again, and not a single one made it back to Britain or whatever because they kept eating them all because they tasted too good. They had it coming. I don't know that they did. I think they're just kind of friendly, nice animals that are just like walking piles of defenseless meat. I mean, for people, kind of. But yeah, I don't know. I like most food. You know, I'm not picky. We need a Reynad John Zerka collab. I do like John Zerka's energy, the whole vibe. I don't know, I grew up on like so much TV that was just made and written in New York, and anytime I hear anything that's like East Coast accent, I'm just like, I don't know. It's like nostalgic for me a bit almost. Reynad, why did you come back? It's the first stream since I was a teenager. I had nothing better to do. Because I missed you guys. Because I hate myself. How many reasons do you need? What was that food that you ate all the time when you first moved into your old place and your mom brought you a shit ton of it for your birthday? Oh, man. Oh, salmon roe, maybe? The caviar stuff? Yeah. Yeah, it was salmon. It was like the cheap caviar, the orange ones, not the black ones. Salmon roe. My mom didn't bring me any. She shipped me some. There's a website that sold it for like, you can get like a kilo for like $80 or whatever. You know, it's like it's way more than you can go through in a month. I haven't had that in a while though. Maybe I should order some again. It just goes bad so quick, and you have to order a certain amount for it to be worth it, and I don't want to be wasteful, you know. Alright, boys. Has been fun. Great catching up with you as always. I'm kind of out of random bullshit to talk about and kind of reactively going off of chat now, and I think it's starting to drag. So yeah, it's been fun. I'll try to pop back on whenever the fuck I feel like it. Hopefully I see you next time. Check out The Bazaar on YouTube. Got a lot of great videos. You can see the progress of the game. I know we haven't posted a video in a few months, and it'll still be a while till we do, but we're busy making a ton of videos, and we're going to go real hard on it later this year around game launch. So there's going to be a bunch of stuff coming out. But yeah, thanks for the support. Thanks for stopping in, saying hi. It's great to see all you guys again. Most of you, you know who you are. Yeah, be nicer to me on Reddit. I'll see you guys